Hello, hello.
What up, people?
What's going on? Welcome to LTMB Live. We have YouTube on. We got Facebook in the house. How's everybody doing today? Oh, seen too much of the setup. All right, here we go. All right. How's everybody doing? Thursday, October 19th.
A lot of stuff going on, as usual.
No doubt, no doubt.
Hope everybody out there is doing good.
Yeah, we got a few people in the house on Facebook and on YouTube. Let's see.
Got one day left in most people's work week, so y'all should be all hyped up for the weekend.
What's up, Kendra? Let's see who's here. Angie, Diana. How's everybody doing? A lot of things going on. Lots of things to talk about here. What do you want to start with, man? There's a few headlines.
There's a few headlines. There's actually one thing I kind of like shoved aside because it was dumb, and that was Trump's appearance at the Value Voter Summit.
Oh yeah,
all that whole thing.
Yeah, I saw most of it. I think like the last 5 to 7 minutes. I was like, all right,
that was cringeworthy. And the thing is, I don't know why I'm not surprised. I'm just like always dumbfounded by the things I hear. You know what I'm saying? Like my favorite speaker, Michelle Bachmann. She was there, of course.
Bachmann with crazy eyes.
Yeah, with the crazy eyes. Yeah. But yeah, man, it was nothing out of the ordinary as far as like the Values Voter Summit goes. But man, it was just like, why did he go there though? Like, why did he go there?
Because he's Trump, man. Would you expect?
Well, I guess. Less? Well, you know what? I mean, he has to. He has to appeal to a certain type of voter, so and he can get attention from that voter base more so than others. So why not? Why, like, he's not going to waste an opportunity to make himself feel better about himself. And it doesn't take a lot of intelligence to impress that kind of audience. You know what I'm saying?
You think?
I'm just saying.
So he doesn't have to be intellectual at all.
Oh no, he can get like some applause on some basic stuff, man, on basic rhetoric. So like, why not? Why not go? Why not go? I mean, I'm not surprised he went.
You know what? Since we're on Donald Trump and probably some ridiculous things that he said, because you say he said some ridiculous things at the appearance that he made, right? Let's get to one of the most ridiculous things that he said. I believe he said this earlier today. Now, he was at the White House, and the Puerto Rican governor was there. He was sitting right beside him, and one of the reporters had asked him, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would he grade himself as it concerns the efforts that has been made combating the Hurricane Maria that pretty much devastated the island of Puerto Rico. What would he grade himself on a scale of 1 to 10? Now, before we get to Trump's response, you know what? I'm gonna play president for a second, man.
Okay,
I'm gonna play president.
All
so
right.
you go ahead and throw that question at me, man. Go ahead and throw it at me.
President Trump, how would you grade yourself as far as your response to the Puerto Rico, the devastation there? On a scale of 1 to 10, President Trump, how would you grade your response?
You know, I think it's a little early to be talking about a grade to give myself because, the recovery is still underway. So I really think it wouldn't behoove anybody to say how well we've done because people are still living through this crisis. We're just about a month in after the destruction made its way across Puerto Rico. People are still craving for food and water and electricity. So I think at a later date, once we can fully look back and reflect on everything that has transpired since Hurricane Maria came and left, I think then we will have a better overall feeling about the efforts that we've made.
That was a very unexpected answer. I was really not expecting that answer, President Trump.
Yeah, I would think.
The second question
I want
to ask is, What have you done with President Trump? You are you a clone of some sort who have been reprogrammed? That's my second question.
So you're saying that's not something that Donald Trump would say?
Yes,
a measured statement.
Based off of a track record and a theme that he has created for himself. That is not an answer that I would expect from you, President Trump. So that's what my second question was based on.
Okay.
It just seemed very surprising that you would be so insightful and offer, I guess, rhetoric that exemplifies empathy and thoughtfulness.
Well, okay, let me take a step back then. Let me take a step back and give you my real response that I actually gave today, Thursday, when that question was posed to me. I'd give it a 10.
He said he gave himself a 10.
He said he gave the effort a 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, he gives it a 10.
You know what? I'm not even mad at Trump. You know who I'm mad at?
Who you mad at, man?
I'm mad at the reporter. I'm mad at the reporter. Like, you know who you're dealing with. Like, to me, I'm just like, actually, it's not that I've normalized who Trump is, but I'm not surprised.
Right. True.
So we know who we're dealing with. So I blame the reporter for asking that question. Like, dead serious. Like, why are you asking Trump a question when you know what the answer is going to be? I mean, it's like, hey, Mr. Narcissist, what do you give yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on how good of a job or how good or bad of a job you've done?
So you're saying that no other response could have been foreseen?
No other response was likely. I'm surprised he didn't say, like, well, you know, actually, I give myself a 15.
Because my efforts can't, like a record scale of 1 to 10 can't hold my effort.
His effort, yes. It can't hold the amount of effort, you know, he put forth in regard to Puerto Rico. Or actually in regard to any and everything. A 1 to 10 scale is not a good range. Yeah. Because his obviously everything he does and says is much higher than that. And like I said, I blame the reporter. Yeah. Like, why would you ask? That's just it's not even a constructive question. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I wonder what he would give himself on a scale of 1 to 10. What grade he would give himself as it concerns the U.S. Virgin Islands and the recovery that's.
I wonder what
made.
I wonder what
because not a lot has been said about the U.S. Virgin Islands, but the only thing I remember him saying about
I wonder what grade he would give.
Talking about the president. He talked with the president. Of
you know what somebody should ask him? Somebody should ask him was like, what grade would you give the president of the Virgin Islands? That would be funny. Terrible.
I guess he didn't know that he was the president of the Virgin Islands. But yeah, not a lot has been made about the U.S. Virgin Islands, but they've been hit by these hurricanes as well. And I've seen pictures, and you know, there's devastation there, and rightfully so. Puerto Rico has made the news pretty much every single day because, like we said, I believe over 80% of the island still doesn't have electricity. There are large areas that still don't have access to clean drinking water. So of course, you know, a lot of attention needs to be put on Puerto Rico, but a lot of attention needs to go to the U.S. Virgin Islands too, and you know, there needs to be some money, some donations heading their way as well. The U.S. government last week, Congress, the House of Representatives approved, I believe it was a $36.5 billion relief aid package for, you know, the victims of these hurricanes that have been making this way into our country for the past month too. So it's supposed to help in the relief efforts for the hurricanes. Set up a flood insurance program, and provide some relief for the wildfires that have been making its way out west. So the Senate too, they're talking about increasing the amount of funds that are gonna go to these relief efforts as well, and that's all well and good, you know. But why is government so slow?
Because they're trying to determine how much these lives are worth.
Yeah.
That's what it is, and that's the saddest. That's kind of sad that I had to put it like that, but that's what it's about. The reason why the efforts, you know, to help the relief or help relieve, you know, the citizens, are going so slowly is because they have to figure out, you know, how much are these lives worth?
Right. Like, it's good, you know, because you see regular people going to these places and helping out. You see regular people donating to different organizations to provide some assistance to the victims of these natural disasters, and that's good. Like I said, that people are trying to help. I mean, they're humanists, you know. They're trying to do the right thing for people, which is great. But the bulk of that money should be coming from the U.S. government. We have a centralized government. The U.S. should be paying for these relief efforts, but they're paying for them late. People are dying while they're still discussing how much we're going to do, what we're going to do. We're going to argue about it. And like I said, Maria has come and gone about a month ago now. And you're still talking about what we're going to do.
Yeah.
It's too late for some of these people.
Yeah, and it's, well, I mean, maybe their priorities on other things, like, you know, the NDAA. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them a blank check to the Defense Department. Pretty much a blank check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That seems to be a lot easier to do, you know, if there's some sort of increase that's needed to perpetuate war, then I guarantee you those funds coming at the drop of a hat. You know what I'm saying?
So if they were really interested in humanity and doing what's good for the citizens that are facing death. I mean, these are dire circumstances that people are going through right now. That should take precedence over pretty much everything else. I know there are a lot of important things in government that a president has to deal with and that Congress has to deal with as well. But when people's lives are at stake, that should be right at the top of the list.
Yeah,
so
because
this money should be
because their
immediately.
livelihoods are immediately being threatened right now.
So they can't wait.
No, because they have nothing else. They've lost everything.
So government goes, though, right? So yeah, actually that leads me to another connected subject. Chris Long, he's a defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles. And he's in his 10th season this season.
That's Howie Long's son.
Yeah, Howie Long's son, the Hall of Famer. Yeah, Howie Long, who is on Fox, right?
Yeah, Fox Sports.
He's a NFL commentator. And so his son, Howie Long, he's been in the league 10 years. And there's been 6 games that he's played so far. Now, those 6 game checks, he's already donated to scholarships in Charlottesville, Virginia, his hometown. But just recently, he's announced that the next 10 paychecks, his remainder paychecks for the year, he's also going to give that away. So he's going to give that away to 4 organizations in Boston, St. Louis, and Philadelphia, the cities that he's played NFL football for. And he said that these are organizations, quote, whose missions focus on making education easily accessible to underserved youth, while also providing students the support they need to develop strong social and emotional character. He also said educational opportunity and equity are the best gateway to a better tomorrow for everyone in America. So I applaud this dude straight up for using his platform, his position, his voice to advocate for underserved youth, you know, because I believe that's something that we all should be advocating for, and putting your money where your mouth is. No doubt. Of course he has more money.
He has a lot of money to put in places.
Yeah, but not many people really do that. Put their money where their mouth is. You know, when you do have that money to spend.
Especially, you know, people in his position.
Right.
You know, I think like there's some you know what's so funny? Like a lot of times athletes and entertainers don't actually get enough attention when they do stuff like that.
True.
You know, like what's that dude? Mike Jones. Like he like a lot, like, again, he doesn't get any attention now because he's kind of like his career is dead and gone, but he does things like that too. What's the dude who does all like the dance music? He's Hispanic. He does he does all the dance music.
Oh, bald head dude.
Yeah, no, this Joker has bought all kinds of real estate where his people are, and he's doing big things as far as community goes. But I guess since he doesn't have an album dropping, it doesn't matter. But no, I think a lot of stuff like this goes on, but it's not really covered. So I'm glad that somebody's getting the spotlight, because it's important, I guess, to know that there are individuals trying to, let's say, offer some sort of monetary counter agent to the system that we live in, because that's what it is. To me, it's a monetary. These people have to step up to the plate. These millionaires that actually have a heart and have empathy have to step up to a plate to offer their monetary assistance because of the system we live in. You know what I'm saying?
And act as a counter agent to our central government. So see, that's where I wanted to go too, because it's pretty much like the same situation we were talking about with Puerto Rico and how the funds are arriving. Well, I guess they will arrive at some point, but they're arriving late. This guy, Chris Long, like I said, he has money to burn, and he's putting it to good use. But why? It's good that a regular person will step up like this, but it's sad that it takes a person to do this when a person has to step in where the government is not. They won't address poverty to a large degree. They won't rectify poverty all across America. Regular people have to step up and give their funds to this effort.
And I think it's important, like, to kind of address like the context of what he's talking about. Will's not talking about the government acting as some sort of crutch, or the government acting as some sort of I guess Captain Save the Day, but more or less the government should kind of focus more attention on not playing favorites to those who are wealthy, not playing favorites to corporations. That's what he's talking about, where the government should step in, basically take the lead, and not favoring a certain class of people over others that then kind of creates these situations of inequality. You know what I'm saying? That's where the government should step in.
Yeah, and because we got to be honest too, because we know that the government set up these poverty-stricken neighborhoods as well. Right?
Yes.
If we're being honest, through the course of America, if you look back at the history, the government is responsible for setting up these neighborhoods and why they're stood hoods, why these neighborhoods don't have any jobs, why people are on the corners trying to sell drugs just to feed their families.
Basically, a corporate statehood.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm not saying, the government should just throw some money in your pocket. They should be the crutch to every single person, man, woman, and child across America. No, I'm not saying that. But no, they should be helping develop communities and neighborhoods across the country, not giving, mass handouts to big business.
Isn't that funny? Then you just have massive handouts. So essentially it's funny how it's like the opposite point is made, to act as if like somehow handouts is kind of what perpetuates poverty, but it's talked about on the other side. But you know what I'm saying? From the side that you're coming from, it's more about handouts on the upper end. Yeah,
right. And people advocate for that too. They advocate for this nonsense. You hear that all the time on Fox News.
So the handouts is what creates the need for handouts.
Yeah, but in a different area. Yeah, but that's bad. Handouts in that area is bad. Handouts up at the top. Oh, that's good, because that's gonna breed that trickle down effect. It's gonna breed that trickle down effect, even though people don't see it. It's a myth. It's a ghost. But again, I applaud Chris Long for doing what he's doing, and this is a guy too that he's used his voice for different things, and even just going back just a few months. Now he said that he wouldn't kneel for the flag, or kneel for the national anthem, but one of his teammates, I can't remember, he's been throwing the fist up when the national anthem is being played. For about a year now, and there's a picture, and he put his arm around him during the playing of the national anthem, and he's also said that after Trump said that owners should fire players that don't stand for the national anthem after he called them sons of bitches. Chris Long was one to say that mandating that players stand for the national anthem would be a bad move. You're just going to be opening up another can of worms right there, and he's absolutely right. So like when he uses his position on this area, though, everybody can applaud that, right? Everybody can applaud somebody with a lot of money using their position, using their money to do good things for underserved youth.
But why? But he's a football player, Will.
Yeah, I know, but
that's not his area.
But they're comfortable with that.
That's not his area. Why? I mean, he just should play football, right?
I mean, it's viewed as something that's noble. It's something noteworthy. It's something that's commendable. He's a damn model citizen. He's a role model. But like I said, this is somebody that's in tune with what's going on. Back in August, this was one of his comments. He said, if you listen to people who tell you to stick to sports, I would ask them, do you stick to whatever your occupation is? He went on, he said, people always want to hear from athletes when they agree with them. When we voice a dissenting opinion, they have an issue with it.
It's not even actually just athletes. It's anybody who has some sort of celebrity status. Yeah. Whether they be like an actor or whether they be like a vocalist of some sort. Right. People do seem to take that position with them too. Just anybody, any celebrity in any kind of that fits in any of those celebrity compartments. It's like when those people use their voice to express something that people agree with, or they agree with, whatever political position they take. If that celebrity agrees with that position, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, they're excellent role models. We need more of that. Right. You know what I'm saying?
But then when, like Chris Long said, they have a dissenting opinion, when they do something that somebody on Twitter, somebody on Fox News, somebody anywhere has a problem with, they have an opposite view of the world and what's going on, the politics, a different view. Oh, shut up. You're an athlete. What the hell do you know? You're not an expert on this subject. Why are you talking? You get paid for football. Shut up.
It's like we can always point out like how illogical that is, but
yeah,
but
in many ways,
because if you think about it, like, why does that profession somehow have to play on with a different rule book? Like, they have a different set of rules. That's how you know it's bullshit. That's how you know people are just trying to avoid talking about the issues, because you're applying a different set of rules to this profession.
I think when they do something that is commended on a massive level, right, by multiple people, it's like, oh man, they're doing the right thing. Like I said, they're a role model. They're doing the right thing for humanity. But when they have that dissenting opinion and they share it, all of a sudden they're looked at as dumb jocks. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're sports players. What do you expect? They didn't graduate. Well, a lot of them didn't graduate from college, and if they did, they probably, got help along the way, took these easy courses. They're dumb jocks. So of course they don't know what the hell they're talking about. You need to shut up.
But what type of precedent, are people setting up? I don't think they understand. They're unwittingly setting up a very narrow precedent. Not just for athletes, but again, for themselves.
For anybody.
For everybody. Because, whatever your profession is, I don't care whether you're an electrician, whether you are a car mechanic, whether you computer technician, whether you do welding, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever profession you're in, you know what? You aren't allowed to have an opinion or offer any kind of your thoughts on anything outside of that profession. Think about what kind of standard you're setting up.
So if I'm a cashier at Walmart, then I can only speak about
cashiering, dog. That's it.
Maybe some Walmart business.
Oh yeah, cashiering and Walmart business.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
So maybe what if I want to advocate for cancer or something like that?
Not your wheelhouse, bro. Not your wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense, because they're actually setting it up to where it's you actually can't even get involved in government. I've never been on a city council before. I've never been a mayor. I've never been a governor. You know what I'm saying? I've never been the president. I've never been a senator. I've never sat on like the oversight committee. I've never been in any of these positions. So I shouldn't ever have a position on them, I guess. I shouldn't have any kind of offer any kind of my opinion or any kind of thoughts on those people in those positions or policies. I can't have any thoughts on policies they put forward either, because say, hey, that's not my profession.
So even us, we are underqualified.
Oh man, we're
do this job.
Yeah, we just close up shop.
We didn't graduate with a political science degree.
Close up shop, dog. We're
never held office anywhere, so we shouldn't even be doing this.
Nope.
Like you said, you're setting up a precedent that people can't talk, people can't advocate for different things just because they don't have like a high level experience in it.
Or like in that thing. But it's interesting, like kind of what kind of sparked these the national anthem kneeling. What sparked it? What sparked it was I guess the dissatisfaction in the criminal justice system, the dissatisfaction when observing the level of police brutality that's going on. That was kind of that was the basis for the kneeling.
Right.
So basically it was about, you know, police officers, law enforcement, and the criminal justice system as a whole. And it's interesting that people were kind of using the same argument in regards to that. You're not a cop. You're not law enforcement. You don't know. So shut up. So it's like people were using the same argument in regards to that. And it seems that it just kind of like it transferred over.
Right.
It transferred over to how people respond to what athletes can and cannot say. Because I think it's like it's connected to the same issue. It's connected to the same talking point they use for the issues these players are highlighting. Because they'll say something like, you know, like they have it hard. They have a hard job. They have a hard job, and you know, you don't have any experience being a cop, so you can't say anything. I'm like, yo, how much expertise does it take to know that shooting someone in the back or planting evidence is not the right thing to do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or planting evidence, planting drugs.
Yeah. Or see that maybe somebody lied on a statement, an official statement.
Yeah, exactly.
They changed the story.
Exactly. Like there are countless times where you know, the police report doesn't match up with what the body camera says. Yeah. It doesn't. I don't have to work in that field to notice that or point that out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
That's how you know people are just trying to fall through mental trap doors so they don't have to deal with the issues that are being brought up. They just are trying to like find anything.
So if they hear something that they don't want to hear, they can always fall back on.
They just like,
you shouldn't be talking. You shouldn't be talking, so whatever you say is worthless.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be talking anyways. I don't got to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. You know what? With that, we're going to let Facebook go. Facebook, if you do us a favor and click that button, and you will go to YouTube where you can see the rest of the show. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you over there. All right. Let's get to the attack in Somalia. Okay. Mogadishu. Yeah. So there was a very deadly bombing in Mogadishu recently. And details are, you know, they're still being revealed. The investigation is still on the way. But it was the most deadly attack in Somalia's history. Over 300 people have been confirmed as dead. And officials expect that number to rise. Countless others are injured. And this was a result of a truck bombing. Somebody drove the truck. Well, I think this is from The Guardian here. And let me put this up on the screen. Yeah. So, though details are still emerging, it is thought the truck bomb was aimed at one of the ministries in the area, but was detonated prematurely by its driver when it was stopped by security officials while stuck in a traffic jam. The explosion then ignited a fuel tanker parked nearby. So that just exacerbated the condition, and it just created this this big fireball, and buildings were just devastated. The whole area looks horrible if you've seen the pictures. And again, like I said, over 300 people have been killed. No one has claimed responsibility for the attack. They did arrest one guy that was trying to drive another vehicle into the scene that was packed with explosives as well. So they arrested him. They said that he's confessed, and that I think I read that he was glad that the attack happened. But like I said, no one has claimed responsibility, like no group, but they believe that it's the group Al-Shabaab, which is an organization that is linked to Al-Qaeda. So like I said, they haven't claimed responsibility, but they've been known to attack Mogadishu before many times, and they've been known to use this same type of bombing in Mogadishu and in other places around Somalia as well, and in I believe just in Somalia, maybe in other parts of Africa.
Oh no, yeah, it's been other parts too. But it's like one thing that always sticks out to me, especially in regard to like the reactions people have to this. It seems like no matter what it is, it's always on the back end. Like, what can we do, as a country to help them, right? To help them solve these kind of, I guess, civil conflicts that are going on, or you have the typical conversation is like, oh, interventionism. You know what I'm saying? People are like, we shouldn't get involved. You have, I guess people with more of a knee-jerk reaction say things like, why can't they be civilized? Or why can't these countries be stable? And why? And like, these people can't lead, and these people can't live in civilization. But I'm just thinking, like, how come all these countries that are involved in some sort of civil conflict, why do they always have similar geopolitical histories and a similar geopolitical background? It's like it's like this stuff didn't just come out of nowhere. I'm not definitely not a history major, but as far as I know, Somalia was under British and Italian rule, I think up until the 60s or something like that. And then I think after that, it was like they were under like either Soviet rule, or they were being both under Soviet rule and being advised by the Soviets. And that includes not just Somalia, but the other countries around there too. And of course, the Soviet Union fell. So what do you think is going to happen? You know what I'm saying? And we kind of took over because we were supposed to be allies. Right. And I think at some point, we tried to, I guess, transition their economy from a socialist one to a more privatized one. Of course, we had our own little appointed dictator in there, of course. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just don't like talking about these things as far as like in a bubble, and we talk about intervention and trying to, help solve these issues. We're talking about it on the back end without even realizing that like these countries have a history of intervention on the front end. And I'm saying intervention as a placeholder for imperialist powers and colonization and other countries having control over these regions for a long period of time. And so we acting like, these conflicts and this kind of vacuums for terror are like some sort of aberration.
Yeah, like they just started or something.
Yeah,
this is a UN-backed government in Somalia, in Mogadishu, and this group that they're saying that they believe that is responsible for the attack, Al-Shabaab, they were in power in Mogadishu, I believe, in 2006, and they got driven out. Now, of course, they're mad about that, and they've been attacking ever since. They're at odds with them. They're the enemy now. So there's a reason, like you said, you got to look back into the history and see why this happened. This isn't something that's just been springing up in the last few months or the last few years. There's a history behind this, and like we said, you know, they've been bombing Mogadishu before. This is just the biggest scale attack that we've seen in that region, in, you know, in that nation. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Like I said, the countless lives that are altered because of this.
But what's more unfortunate is the fact that, like, it's been kind of touched on by media, but with the amount of deaths that occurred, it's just surprising that there hasn't been like more of a media fervor. I
didn't see the same kind of response from like American media as like what we saw in France. Yeah.
No,
there's not the same.
Not the same.
And this was a terrorist attack,
it's not even just, I guess you would call it the response. It's more than just the response. It's the level of, I would say, empathy that comes with a response,
right? Too.
You know what I'm saying? The level of, you know, maybe because this has to do with people who look a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
So it's like culturally, ethnically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because usually the level of, you know, sorrow you have and sorrow you feel doesn't just come out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
It's based upon your.
It's not. It's conditional.
Yeah.
It's conditional.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
So it just seems like, you know, if you just look at, you know, who controls the media. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense that not a lot of attention is put on this, because the media in a lot of cases reflects those who are in power. Not just reflect those who are in power, it reflects those kind of, I wouldn't say attitudes, but I guess what they care about, and kind of like where their empathy lies and how those people relate to them. So if the larger, I guess, the larger body of media doesn't personally empathize with these people, obviously it's going to, you know, contribute to how they report or don't report on certain things. So I don't see the media as some sort of like compartmentalized entity away from people. I kind of, in a lot of cases, see them as a direct reflection of people too. So,
well, I think a lot of people believe that the mainstream media is here to educate them, when we know that to not be the case whatsoever.
But I never, it seemed to me, I don't think I ever had that conflict as far as like trying to hold the media to some sort of standard that they never have in the first place. I personally don't understand why, you know, why would I even like?
Well, because it's a news source. It's a, you know, they're supposed to be delivering the news that regular people should have access to, or they believe they should have access to. Like, you're responsible for getting us the information that impacts our lives. Now, they do that to a degree, but some of the things that we should be hearing about, they don't really pay attention to. And you have to look at who their corporate sponsors are. You know, you have to look at the party politics angle. You have to look at Democratic and Republican politicians. There's a reason why their narrative is what it is. There's a reason why Fox News is conservative. There's a reason why MSNBC is more liberal. There's a reason why CNN is pretty much dead in the center.
So basically, it's like it's how and what they cover is conditional to a system of beliefs, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's
not like they're just unbiasedly trying to disperse the information.
All right. So basically, they have it's not so much like this robot. It's not necessarily like this huge kind of robot. Like, it's not like a machine that just kind of like is, you know, like doesn't have any kind of like
a filter.
It has a filter. It has some sort of kind of a human source to how they want to cover stuff. And that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I can't be mad that they don't cover certain things with the same fervors, because it's not run by a robot. These are, you know what I'm saying? These are these media entities.
So these are people and corporations.
With biases. So it doesn't surprise me. That's why I don't necessarily expect the media to cover everything in an insightful manner. I don't expect the media to offer like, I guess, a glimpse into the source to all of the world's problems. I don't expect that because I just never think that was the intent of the media in the first place.
True.
So,
well, since we're talking about media, and we even did reference CNN. Last night on CNN was the Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz debate on tax reform. So, look, I'm not sure how many people watched this event. I'm not sure how many people watched it. On one hand, I think, you know, this is not impactful because people are going to come away with the same opinion that they held before, no matter what they see. But on the other hand, I see that, hey, you know, even though I understand that CNN has their motivations for putting on a show like this, and they're not good. Their intentions are not good.
Yeah, because really, how serious do you expect me to take some sort of dialogue between somebody like Bernie Sanders, who is like, on I guess when you talk about political honesty, and being genuine,
and then
up here, and then you have
counter them with
like Eddie Munster,
Ted Cruz, exactly. How seriously can you take it? I still say that I'd rather these events be put on because on a small scale, maybe some people are educated about what they hear.
Right.
So I still like that they are put on. Unfortunately, though, this is outside of election season, so you know a lot of interest is not going to be on these kind of events. So again, I don't know how much this really does.
But maybe you just answered your question right there because it's outside.
Yeah.
You know, the I guess it's outside the whole political viewpoint.
Yeah.
The game,
the sports event mentality.
It's outside of when the viewership is higher. So maybe these things are trying to, you know, have a way of keeping people engaged in some way. I see. We're trying to dig for. You know what? We're trying to dig for reasons.
You know what?
Right
you made an interesting point though. Why wouldn't they put these on in 2016 while campaigns are, you know, active?
It would seem that they would do things like this. I guess promote dialogue between opposing sides rather than kind of keep it compartmentalized within these kind of party-oriented primaries,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Because these are different than debates. Like these are different than like presidential debates when they have to they cover you know, a host of issues and they're very broad. You know, they can't really delve into specifics and details. So when it's like, you know, a kind of like a one issue thing, I believe it is better. You will come away with more than you know, a presidential debate. But like I said, you know, I'm not sure how many people watch, but you know, I believe maybe there was a few out there that were educated. But we're not going to play any video of it, but there was one exchange that I believe was very good. It was very positive, right?
Yeah.
So there was this guy named Jacob Kierkegaard that asked a question to Bernie Sanders. And he grew up in Denmark, okay? And so he stated that Denmark spends way more on its citizens than does the United States, of course, per capita. So while he agreed with Bernie Sanders on his vision for, you know, America, when you're talking about universal health care or tuition-free college, stuff like that, he agrees with them on those issues. But he asked if Bernie wants to spend like a Scandinavian country but not tax like one, because he knows that coming from a Scandinavian country, he knows that the people are taxed very high, not just the wealthy but the middle class as well is taxed at a higher rate. So that the reason why that was an excellent question is because this is something that Bernie has not really talked about. I remember one time on the campaign trail in 2016 that he actually did address it. And I believe it was at a town hall on CNN. But he was up on the stage by himself, of course. And I believe, it was, you know, Hillary Clinton came before, after, I can't remember. But he actually did kind of suggest that taxes were going to have to be raised on everybody. But that was the only time, and he didn't really expound. He didn't
Why
really
do you
go.
Why do you think that is? You think because I mean, what you're trying to get at, it's almost like you're saying that he was trying to avoid talking about it. Why do you think that is?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I think that was something that was somewhere I don't think he wanted to go, because look, we know that 10 years ago you couldn't say that you were a democratic socialist. 5 years ago you couldn't say that. Even 2 years ago you couldn't say that. But Bernie Sanders made it so that kind of progressivism, like, it was okay to say that. And he brought many things to the table. He brought that to the mainstream. So, I always commend him for that. But, there were some things that we had problems with that he didn't discuss. Things that he didn't say about Hillary Clinton, or things even in his own platform where he didn't go far enough. Now, this was one of them, because, like I said, he was very vague. Yeah, about what was going to happen. Okay, how are you going to pay for these things, these initiatives that you want to implement? So I think it was great for this guy Kierkegaard to actually ask him, because if you want to implement these ideas but not tax like Scandinavian countries, that doesn't really, that wouldn't seem to work. So then in Bernie's response, he finally got around to it, and I believe he went further than what he did in 2016, but it still wasn't emphatic enough.
I don't think it was emphatic enough, but it did go further, and that's, I guess, one other positive that you can draw, I guess, from this debate. Because it did, like, that particular interaction,
it brought him out. It brought that out a little bit.
Again, I think that has to be brought out. If he doesn't deal with it head on, then people are going to still have reservations about Bernie's view on funding all of these programs. People have all these reservations. So I think at first I was like on my knee jerk, and I was like, where is this question coming from? But I was like, you know what? That question needs to be asked. Yes, because it addresses, like, I guess, a primary fear and a primary apprehension that people have with anything that is, I guess, run by the government. Or to me, I think it's probably better to say facilitated by government. Facilitated by government. Way to say it. And so I think that has to get put out there in a very, I guess, poignant way. Because it was a very detailed question. Yes. And that's why I liked it, but I liked the detailed answer too. And it seemed more like a conversation than a lecture.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because Bernie was actually even asking him questions about.
Yeah, it was back and forth.
What do you pay when you have to go to the doctor, or and he said about maybe like a $10 copay. He asked him, what if you had to go to the hospital? Like if you came down with cancer or something like that. The guy said $0. I don't have to pay anything. He asked him about preschool education, how much that would cost, and the guy said, depending on the region, maybe $200, $300 a month, something like that. So, like I said, like you were saying, it was like a conversation, and Bernie was using his answers to say that, look, if we want these things here in America, if we want these, if we want improvements to our society, and access and quality for the people that live here, then yeah, we are going to have to raise taxes on everybody. He didn't say it like that. Like I said, it wasn't as emphatic, but he did say that, hey, look, if I raise your taxes a little bit, if we raise your taxes to I forgot what he said, $3,000 a year or something like that, but then we eliminate your $5,000 a year premium, are you going to be mad? So he put it like that. He was talking about the net positives. The net positive.
And that's the thing. It's just like, if you're looking at it, living in society as a whole, it makes sense. Yes, the math is not that not hard to understand, but it's like one thing math. About, again, he's basically outlining the cost of living in a society, and sometimes those costs change when societies progress, and that's just a reality we have to live in. I'm like, the cost to living in a society is not going to be the same as it was 100 years ago, and that's just based on like what we know about, like, I guess the cost of like, I guess, certain things that we feel should be a part of the society, and how those things relate to, I guess, the livelihood of everyone, and how we're all connected. You know what I'm saying? Because if we don't, I guess, I guess take a very a productive approach with things like healthcare, then obviously it's going to affect everyone. So we have to address it as a society, as a complete civilization,
as a responsible
like I guess solutions to these problems we're looking at, like a proactive solution.
Like
So
like a nation that's actually concerned about its people.
yes, if we're actually are concerned, or if they're actually concerned about people like they say they are, we kind of have to be proactive in addressing this, and proactive in addressing like how our tax dollars are collected, and how those tax dollars are diverted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a conversation you can't avoid.
Okay. So, all right. Now, after this exchange between Bernie Sanders and Jacob Kierkegaard, Jake Tapper asked a kind of like a follow-up question. So Jake Tapper asked Bernie Sanders if he thought that Americans were ready to pay taxes like that, if Americans were ready to have their taxes raised. Now understand this, okay? Because I can reframe that question for Jake Tapper. He basically said, do you think Americans are ready to put away their stupidity? Do you think Americans are smart enough to understand that? Do you think Americans are smart enough to understand what a net positive is?
But he didn't ask it like that.
He didn't ask that.
He didn't ask it like that, though.
He didn't ask it like that. He asked it like, do you think Americans are ready to pay taxes like that? Now, again, we're talking about a net positive situation. So this discussion that Bernie Sanders is having, he's saying that, look, yes, everybody's taxes are going to be raised. Everybody's taxes, not just the rich, but the middle class as well. Poor people, taxes will be raised, but you will receive a better outcome. You will receive a net positive.
Again, it's like I guess because when you're using the term tax officially, yes, you're talking about what the government collects.
Yes.
But as a concept, that term can apply to anything, because you're being taxed on the front end, so you won't be taxed on the back end. It's not considered a tax, but I guarantee you people feel taxed when that doggone premium comes.
Hell yeah, right? Any kind of payment could be a tax, right?
Tax, like tax, yes. So it's not. It may not be officially called a tax, but if you're just talking about the concept of being taxed, the concept of having to give up something that you can't afford, I guarantee you people are going to feel more taxed when that bill comes in the mail, or when they have to pay for a MRI. You know what I'm saying?
So Jake Tapper, he's feeding into the fear mongering. He's feeding into the boogeyman treatment. He's feeding into Americans feeling like, you raise taxes.
Not only that,
you can't raise taxes.
No. Not only that, it's like I just felt that, like, the way he asked the question, it was almost like his words made it sound like he was caring about Americans, but he was trying to, like, slide the question up underneath their intelligence.
Yeah, it was very offensive.
It was
insulting to American intelligence. But it's like, okay, yo, Mike, I know you've been paying me, $5 a week, right?
Right,
it's a little fee that, we had arranged, right?
For exchange of certain services.
Yeah. And I give you back maybe about $3, just for some investment or something, right? Well, we're gonna have to alter this arrangement we have. You know what? You're gonna have to pay double now, okay? So you're gonna have to give me $10 a week, but you know what? I give you about $20. Are you ready to pay double?
Wait a second. We gotta be more detailed about like what else in my life has changed. Even though that fee is higher. What else in my life has changed? On the front end, what am I not doing? I'm not paying what?
You're not paying for your premiums, right?
Premiums for healthcare?
Yeah.
What about education too.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not paying for the things that actually cost us the most,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm paying you a fee. Those things are taken care of,
Right.
and it comes out to be a net positive.
A net positive.
And that's it. That's the
but
deal.
I'm gonna raise I'm gonna raise what you pay though.
No, I'm not taking it. Nah, dog.
But that's the consciousness of America. A lot of America is like, we don't care. We don't even understand what a net negative is. 'Cause that's actually what they're saying. Like, that's above our intelligence. We don't understand. All we're hearing is that you're going to raise taxes. Doesn't matter what else you do. Doesn't matter if it actually is going to benefit us. You raise taxes, that's automatically bad.
They automatically think there's not going to be like any kind of like positive consequence to that, and like it is understood. There's not a lot of trust people have for it. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, it's like, yeah, I understand. You don't trust the government. You know, the government, you know, just runs things into the ground. They can't manage anything.
But
we have debt. You know, we have trillions of dollars in debt. You know, mismanagement, fraud, waste, abuse, blah blah blah. Okay, I understand that. But you're being taxed now anyway. Like, you're being taxed right now anyway.
Why be involved in anything or advocate for anything? Why get involved for I guess in change at all if that's what you think about the government? If the government is just completely useless, then just sit your ass at home. Just stay your ass at home. Don't have an opinion on anything. Just let it go. Just say, "Oh, the government can't do anything, so I'm not gonna even like get involved in advocating for anything positive that gets facilitated through government."
Mm-hmm.
So just sit your ass at home and just stay your ass at home and don't get involved in any political conversations.
And again, like, we're not talking about, if we're specifically talking about healthcare, we're not talking about anybody's healthcare changing. Like, your doctors aren't going to change, hospitals aren't going to change, nothing's going to change. The only thing that's going to change is the structure of like how money is moved around in this system. Like, who's in the system? Private insurers, they don't have to be there. I'm sure they still will be there if people want to pay additionally for whatever type of services. I'm sure they'd be willing to take your money, but nothing's gonna change. And what highlights that point is that the countries that have implemented single payer, universal healthcare, have never come off of it. They have not said that this is such a horrible system, we need to go to America's model, private health insurers. Oh yeah, let's do that.
So what you're saying is there, like, not only are there examples out there of it working, all those examples have chosen to stay on that system.
Yeah, they all stay on it, man. It's ridiculous. But you know what? Even further into the boogeyman, you know, the fear mongering. Check Ted Cruz's response. Okay, so after Bernie Sanders had that exchange, after Jake Tapper asked that very insulting question about Americans' intelligence, Ted Cruz said this. You know, I wish I could mimic his voice. Anyway,
you know, we just witnessed a very important moment in this debate.
I guess that's how you got it.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
I can't see it from there. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, read, because I can't see it. Go
Right.
ahead.
You know, we just witnessed a very important moment in this debate, which is that Bernie admitted that he wants to raise everyone's taxes, not just the rich. The question was, to pay for this socialist state, you've got to raise everyone's taxes. And Bernie said, yep, that's right. Your taxes are going up. That is a rare moment of candor in Washington. You see what he's doing, man? He's doing the fear-mongering game. He's playing like, Bernie, man, that's the boogeyman. He's going to raise your taxes. You can't let him raise your taxes. It's going to be a socialist state.
It's going to be a disaster. Everything's going to implode.
But it's like you know, like, if you actually went by his logic, it's like he doesn't even understand that taxes are supposed to pay for stuff. So, like, if taxes already pay for stuff, then we would already be in a socialist state. Right? Isn't that if you follow his logic?
But see, right now, he's not trying to follow any kind of logic himself. The only thing he's trying to follow is that kind of same line of fear mongering, and he's trying to. Well, he's hoping that it's most likely people that I guess cater to that line of thinking or cater to that fear. He's hoping that he reaches those people. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, man. No doubt. It's sad, man. This is a sit-in.
He knows what he's doing.
U.S. senator.
He knows what he's
doing.
He's
lying to the American people.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's making it. You know what he did? He made it like he made it like he had some sort of like aha moment. Like, dude, you didn't have an aha moment, bro.
Bernie said he's gonna raise taxes.
There you go. Got him. No, dude, you didn't get him.
But yeah, man, I hope this actually makes Bernie say it even more, man. I hope he gets a big megaphone and says, yes, everyone's taxes will be raised. Now, again, like, I have to say this too. We have to understand this is in the environment where people don't want to talk about MMT. They don't want to talk about modern monetary theory, right? So we know, I mean, like, I believe that, yeah, this government could pay whatever they want for its people if they wanted to. Yeah, we have the money, but they don't do that. So putting MMT aside, yeah, taxes fund, government programs. So again, we would already have to be in a socialist state if what Ted Cruz is saying is right. And he would have to know that. But it seems like he doesn't know that.
Oh, no. He knows. He knows that. There's no...
He's just preying on people's fear.
Yes. Because he is a corporate stooge himself. So why would you advocate something that is like counterintuitive to your existence as a politician? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. That's crazy. Like I said, yeah, that was the I guess the highlight of this debate that I saw. And like I said, I'm glad that Kierkegaard asked that question and got Bernie to go there. And we can only hope that Bernie continues to go there, and he does so more emphatically. Like, he actually goes hard on it,
not shy away.
No, not just shy away from it. I can understand that he was a little timid about it, because again, that is very progressive, right? That's a very left-wing ideal, to actually say raise taxes. That's something that has never been comfortable in America. But if you're actually going to get to a place where you want to actually implement these programs that you've been preaching about for years, yeah, you're gonna have to say it.
They got to swallow that horse pill. The people have to swallow that horse pill. You know what I'm saying? If we really value living in a society that it's not going to, I wouldn't say guarantee equity, but at least promote it in a way that makes it more likely. Yeah, you got to swallow that horse pill. Like, people, but I think it's like, it's almost like it's like people have this idea that we don't live in a society, meaning like a collection of people whose lives are intertwined. Yeah, and I think that's the problem. Like, people essentially cut off from each other. Like, our lives are not intertwined at all. What I do doesn't affect you. You know what I'm saying? What I do is not going to affect this next guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What, dog?
Your impression, dog.
Oh, I don't know where that came from. I don't know what kind of impression that was.
All right. So we're gonna stay on healthcare for a minute. Now, okay. So President Trump last week, he revealed that he was gonna stop making those cost sharing payments to health insurers. Now, this means that many Americans will be faced with higher costs, higher copays, higher deductibles. So now, we do have to share too that since he said that, he did seem to support Patty Murray's and Lamar Alexander's bipartisanship agreement to effectively further Obamacare for about 1 or 2 years. I guess to about 2019, into 2019, something like that. So the government would still keep making those cost sharing payments. Now, I still don't believe that this bipartisanship agreement is going to go anywhere, because we have Republicans saying that it's a no-go. They don't want anything to do with propelling Obamacare. They don't want to promote it. They want it gone. They don't want to I guess, further it. They just want it gone. So I don't believe that this is actually going to work. So I would think it's highly possible that this administration is going to do what Trump said and stop those payments. Okay, so on the October 16th episode of Happening Now on Fox News, that was just this past Monday, the host John Scott, he shared his feelings on this situation, on the cost sharing aspect of Obamacare, and this is what he initially said. He said, if low-income people need money to make their healthcare premiums, I would feel better if the government were cutting checks to those low-income people rather than big health insurers. Okay, so that led to one of the guests on this segment, Richard Fowler, speaking about the dangers of cutting these payments and what the negative results will be for middle-class people. Okay. Now, after that, this led the host, John Scott, to say this.
What's the motivation if these are the poorest Americans who are getting their co-pays and things like that covered? What's the motivation for them to try to live a healthier lifestyle? I mean, if it doesn't cost them anything to go to the doctor, what's the motivation?
I can like equally apply it to very wealthy people that can, I can apply it to the other end too, because what if you can afford any procedure out of pocket no matter the cost? You know what I'm saying? How is that motivating you to create a healthy lifestyle for yourself if the consequences to your lifestyle don't cost you anything? I can easily make that argument on the other side too. You know what I'm saying? And how can I apply that to corporate subsidies too?
You could.
I could apply that to corporate subsidies and corporate tax breaks and all the benefits that they get. I mean, I could say that, what's motivating them to create a healthy, sustainable business model? You know what I'm saying?
So basically, this guy, John Scott, he's setting up a situation where basically, if you don't put a premium on healthcare, then people won't respect it. If you don't put a premium on education, people won't respect it. People won't do exactly what they need to do to get the good grades. People won't even care about their own health if they're getting the insurance for free. What motivation would they have if they can get this health care for free? They would just let their bodies go to waste.
But they
would get so unhealthy.
But is he considering the fact that most of these people have incomes to where they actually can't even afford a healthy lifestyle? Does he think just like grapes and strawberries and blueberries and blackberries and kale and broccoli and all that stuff it just grows on all these trees that everybody can get? These whole grains. It's like, if you have a family, 2 or 3,
if eating healthy is more expensive than eating junk.
Yeah, it may be less expensive on the back end, but people can't even afford the front end of trying to be healthy. So yes, the health consequences, it'll cost you less because you most likely won't have to deal with kidney failure, heart disease, cancer. Yes, you may not have to deal with that, but
how you gonna
even get there when you can't even afford health on the front end?
You can't, man.
You know what I'm saying? So he's making it like, it's fully and wholeheartedly their choice, and I'm like, yes, I completely understand. Most people's, health problems aren't really inherited. I think that accounts for 5% of most diseases, including cancer. Only 5% of them, have inheritance factors. But since he's talking about lifestyle, right? Okay. Our lifestyles are not completely controllable. Completely. No matter how much agency I have, my lifestyle is not completely controllable, because guess what? You know what else causes health problems? The environment. The environment.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So if you just factor in, these people's personal choices, you're not taking into account all the other things that affect their life and their health. And since we're talking about poor people typically have to take jobs that actually increase certain health risks. Like I think I was watching something a long time ago. It was talking about how like they're working in certain meat that manufacture and process meat, like it increases your cancer like by 9 or 10%. You know, like I think people that applies to people who work in rubber manufacturing. It applies to like agriculture. It applies to people who are mechanics. There's a lot of other different mining.
Yeah, of course. But see, these are jobs that people have to take. They got to take this, and we're not in a situation where, and you know, we once covered basic income.
Right.
Remember, we covered basic income, and we talked about the positives that would come from that, where people could actually afford to not take a shit job. Employers would have to do what's right by the employee if they wanted their employees to work for them, because they could always go somewhere else. They have a basic, like a stipend that they get every single month, so they could use that for the things that they absolutely need. So these jobs would have to provide quality places of employment for their workers. But we don't have that kind of society right now. So they have to take these jobs where, yeah, their health is at risk.
So not only is their health at risk for taking some of these jobs, some of these jobs cannot sustain a completely healthy lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, as far as the pay from these jobs, it's hard for them to sustain a healthy lifestyle, and the demand for these jobs as well. It's hard to even create a space like to create a healthy lifestyle. So they don't get paid enough, number one, to create that healthy lifestyle. And then the job, they're subject to the health risk of the job that the environment, you know, that's created by that environment.
Right.
So it's like, it's kind of like a punch to the face
and then
for him to say that.
Even to just to add a little bit more into that too, you're talking about areas where, okay, so if these people have to take these jobs, if they're not getting paid a lot to even, I guess, do better things for their health, you know, get healthier, eat healthier food, things like that, right? They're probably living in poor neighborhoods as well, right?
And poor neighborhoods are more affected by environmental.
Yeah, because what do corporations often do?
They usually neglect them the most. Not, you know what? Not bad. You know what? I'm not even going to use the word neglect, because you make it sound like it's not purposeful. Because there are so many cases around the country where it's like,
are they polluting water
we'll just dump this over here because you know what I'm saying? We'll just dump this in this stream or this river because, you know, nobody cares about those people. And do they want to take responsibility for that?
No,
not in any kind of way. So that's just like a slap to the face of like the actual conditions we actually live in.
But you know, that the comments that he made were just ridiculous. The host John Scott, because like I said, he began by saying, yeah, you know, it would be better to make these payments directly to the consumer, right? Directly to the people that are paying for these insurance policies. But then he goes and say, but you know what? You know, if these people are actually getting healthcare for free or for a minimum amount, what's to make them actually respect their health? It's just a ridiculous position to take. It's an incendiary comment to make. When we talk about education, when we talk about tuition-free universities and colleges at public universities and colleges, I've heard the same kind of narrative that, well, if you just give it to them, they're not going to respect it. They're not going to do the work, right? But you're forgetting that these same colleges and universities still have standards. It's not everybody that can go. You're still gonna have to get the grades to get
and
in there.
It's not like somebody like gets a scholarship or a grant and it's just like like expecting a B or an A. You know what I'm saying? They still have to do the work.
They have to do the work.
It's not like they'll just ignore.
It's not like you're handing out A's.
You're going to ignore the requirements because I got a free ride. I just can ignore all standards and requirements. It's like, that doesn't make sense.
That's the intellectual dishonesty that they're perpetrating, though. They're saying that, look, you got to place a premium on these things, or if you don't, then it's going to lead to worse outcomes.
And you know what?
People aren't going to respect it. They're not going to do the work. They're not even going to respect their own damn health.
In actuality, a lot of times when people visit the doctor, now it's not as extensive as I would like. It's not as it's not something that it's gone into as much I would like, but these people are they get advised on a lot of different areas they can change in their lives.
No doubt.
Because like when my dad, I noticed that in my dad, like over probably the last 20 years. I mean, he has certain conditions, and he actually has taken suggestions, from doctors or from people that doctors have, funneled him to. Right. So yes, like his visits aren't just like static visits, like just okay, you're treated and you're gone. Like you're treated and you're gone. There was some kind of advice offered to him, and I've actually seen him make changes to kind of take control over his health. So it's not like he's not factoring in that sometimes these visits are actually accompanied with certain health advice that they may not get.
But what he is factoring in is that people are stupid. Think about how stupid he made people out to be. Just like the last story we did about Ted Cruz and Jake Tapper. Think about the stupidity that they're placing on Americans. In this case, John Scott is saying if you give it to them for free, they're not going to respect their own damn health. They're not going to care about their own lives because you're giving health care to them for free. Think about how stupid that looks. I'm sure, you can make exceptions to any damn rule. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm giving this for free. I'm not gonna respect it. Of course, there's exceptions to any rule, but for the majority of people, you really think that if we provide health care to people, that they're just gonna automatically say, well, no, I got diabetes, but I
get that free health care, dog. Yo, diabetes, bring it on. Cancer, heart disease, dog. Yo, I'm ready for everything.
That makes no sense. And like I said, it's so stupid, it's so ridiculous, and again, it's offensive and insulting to the intelligence of people.
No, it is, man.
All right. Oh man, it's like this whole show has a theme here. Stupidity. Stupidity is the theme of this show. So we're gonna get to all right, so
yo, you can't you gotta you have to build up. Yeah, you gotta build up for it. You can't. You need a few seconds. 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
This story's been irking me for a few days now. Ever since I saw it, man, it's been irking me for a few days. So, of course, after the Las Vegas shooting, we learned that several of the weapons that were found in Stephen Paddock's hotel suite had an accessory on those weapons. They were called bump fire stocks that enabled a semi-automatic weapon to be converted into an automatic weapon and shoot automatic fire. These are accessories that are sold. They're not banned in every state. They're not illegal in every state, but you can buy them online. And you can still buy them online. I think several retailers are still selling out of them right now. Selling out of them
because they know those people are afraid that they may not be available.
No doubt. So, since then, there's been a lot of conversation about these bump fire stocks, especially in political discourse. Senator Dianne Feinstein proposed legislation that would ban these accessories, these bump fire stocks. Now, the NRA opposes this legislation, okay? The NRA opposes this legislation. And I thought we've talked about that and how that was so, it was so disgusting that they would.
Yeah, right? Because essentially the bump stocks make semi-automatic weapons into automatic weapons, which are already illegal.
They're already illegal. So
why would the NRA oppose that?
Like, you just common sense, just a littlest bit of intelligence would say, okay, we already have guns in America that are banned for use among its citizens. Okay? Private citizens, you can't own these automatic weapons. So it would just stand to reason that anything that could convert a semi-automatic weapon, any weapon, into an automatic weapon would be banned as well, especially when this accessory is made with the sole purpose of doing exactly that. They would just stand the reason that they would be illegal, but they're not, because they don't exactly change the weapon. The weapon is still legal. It's the device. It's this accessory that's being put on the weapon.
So now,
that's why it's not illegal.
So now the Second Amendment is being extended.
Oh yes,
to accessories.
Oh, it's to accessories.
Wait a second. Okay. Let me see. So if I take some, let's see, 5-foot blades, little sharp blades. Now, and I want to attach them to my rims. And just have them go out, all 4 wheels. Have them go out. Yeah. My car is legal, right?
Your car is legal.
I legally drive my car.
It's road
I got
legal.
Insurance.
Yeah.
I got registration. I got a license. It's road legal.
You got the title?
I got the title and everything.
Are you straight?
I'm straight, right?
Yeah.
So I can put 5-foot blades jutting outwards on my rear wheels, right? Because that's an accessory. My car is legal.
I think you get pulled over.
I would.
I think you would get pulled over.
I would get pulled up, and I would probably get like a ticket or something, right?
You might get arrested for something like that. Straight up.
No, and the reason why I chose blades is because that's a device that's specifically designed to probably cause damage to other cars or people in general.
So these bump fire stocks are meant to cause more damage than what you could get. What the damage that you could cause if you didn't have a bump fire stock on a semi-automatic weapon. Okay, so the story we're gonna get to is there is a Republican state senator in Georgia who is running for governor of Georgia. Now, he's making it known where he stands on this issue. He supports, or actually, he does not support the ban of these bump fire stocks, and he's taking it even further. So this was a tweet that he sent out just a few days ago. And let me see that tweet right here. Okay. This is the tweet that he put out. I oppose a ban on bump stocks as a show of support to defenders of Second Amendment. Enter to win a bump stock here. And he has a little link right there where you can click the button and you can enter this contest, and one person will be given a free bump fire stock. So not only does this clown support the use of bump fire stocks, across America, he's actually going to give one away. And you know what? Before we even talk about this clown, let's talk about the clowns at the NRA, right? Because I forgot a little something about the NRA. The NRA, of course, we just said they oppose the ban of these bump fire stocks, right? Now, what's interesting is at their headquarters in Virginia, I believe it's Fairfax, Virginia, they have a shooting range, a firing range. You know what's interesting? They ban bump fire stocks at the firing range.
You don't say.
They ban them.
You lying?
Nah, they ban them, man.
You lying?
No, I'm telling you,
that's fake news. That's fakety fake, dog.
And guess why they ban them? You don't want to hear it. Guess why they ban them at
not
the
listening.
NRA?
I'm not listening.
They ban them because of safety reasons. They're taking safety precautions because they understand, and this is the case at many fire ranges across the country. They have the same policy. You can't use bump fire systems. They say that they understand that most people don't have experience shooting automatic weapons. They don't have experience with automatic fire. So what's going to happen is that it's going to be very inaccurate, and that will lead to unsafe conditions because they'll hit unintended targets. Unintended targets, not the target that they're trying to shoot, unintended targets. So they put this policy in place so where you can't use bump fire stocks at their firing range. So bump fire stocks are unsafe. They're unsafe in a controlled environment,
right,
like the firing range,
but are completely safe in an uncontrolled environment
all across America.
All across America.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that damn crazy?
You know what? That's how you know they full of shit. That's how you know they full of shit.
And again, so this dude too is, I mean, he's pretty much saying the same thing. Like these bump fire stocks, man. Look, I'm supportive of them, and I'm gonna even give one away. Now, in an email, there was an email that he put out, and this is what he said in the email. All right, he said, the tragedy in Las Vegas. You know what? Hold on a second. Hold on. Here we go. All right. The tragedy in Las Vegas broke my heart, but any talk of banning or regulating bump stocks is merely cheap political lip service from career politicians. He also said, in reality, the bump stock is the new shiny object politicians are using to deceive voters into believing they are taking action against gun violence. That's an interesting way to put it.
That is an interesting way to put it. So, like, it's almost like to me he's suggesting that, you know, being against bump fire stocks is kind of a legitimate way to be against, you know, gun violence, but for career politicians, it's not. It's career politicians making themselves look like they care. So to me, it's almost like he's suggesting that those who do care, you know, can say something about it and can be advocate for it.
So
he's just saying the career politician. So he's not actually saying that advocating for, I guess, the making bump stocks illegal is, you know, not a good thing. But it's just the career politicians who want to fool people. But what about the people who don't want to fool people? What about the non-career politicians?
So
it's almost like he's
making a mistake.
He's saying, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't think he's not making the point he's making. To me, he doesn't.
I don't think he is.
And I think he's on the Senate like ethics committee too. So this all of this narrative he's providing just seems a bit ironic to me.
And he's running for governor. Of Georgia. According to the Huffington Post too. In this giveaway email, the legislator claimed that firearm experts believe that Paddock's use of a bump stock actually prevented more casualties and injuries due to its inconsistency, inaccuracy, and lack of control.
What?
Do you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said?
Yeah, your face is melting like Sarah Huckabee Sanders. So wait. He's saying that, okay, if Paddock didn't have the bump stock,
because
if he didn't have the bump stock,
yeah,
he would have been able to kill more people.
This fool said that Paddock using the bump stock prevented more casualties and injuries.
Oh, so right. You know, First off,
it was safer. It was ultimately safer to use something that converted a semi-automatic weapon into an automatic weapon. It was safer to use automatic fire.
Does he realize if what he's saying is true? Does he realize, like, he's insulting the manufacturers of bump stocks? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He is insulting the manufacturers of bump stocks. I guess the companies who manufacture bump stocks kind of need to recalibrate their product. They need to go back to the drawing board, because obviously, you know what I'm saying, they create a situation that provides less accuracy. Like, he's actually he's making a point he doesn't think he's making. He's saying bump stocks suck. They don't make your firearm any better. They make it worse.
They make it inaccurate.
But
and worse.
Check this out. Now tell me any person who likes guns, and that's kind of their hobby. Now, would you ask them, hey man, I got this accessory. I got this accessory for you. You can try it out. You can try mine out, and I can send you to a manufacturer. And you can buy your own. If I told my friend who, you know, he's a gun enthusiast, I was like, man, I heard that here, this is going to make your shooting less accurate. I'm telling you, it makes your shooting less accurate, and you spray everywhere. You don't hit your target. How about it? I guarantee you, they're gonna be like, ooh, let me get that.
But then we have to deal with the reality too, though, that like Stephen Paddock, he didn't have to use a scope. There was a crowd of like 22,000 people, some 400 yards away. He just had to do this. He just had to do this.
But what's the difference as far as like rounds that you could let off per like minute or pretty? You know what I'm saying, like
it's like 4 or 5 times more that you can shoot off with automatic fire. I saw something where it's in the 20s. Every 7 seconds you can shoot maybe about 20 something bullets with a semi-automatic weapon. But with an automatic weapon, that's like almost 100. About 100 bullets you can shoot in 7 seconds.
You don't even have to be.
You don't have to be accurate. You can just spray it. There's 22,000 people down there.
You know what? I just realized something. Maybe that's what we have been witnessing in all these action movies. You know, because you know that's the
they can't hit nobody.
They can't hit nobody. You know because that's the biggest point of emphasis people make about these action movies. When the bad guys can't seem to hit their targets, and the good guys always get away, and even if there's bullets sprayed everywhere, the good guys always get away. These highly trained professionals all of a sudden can't shoot when the good protagonist is involved. Maybe they have bump stocks. That explains everything for me. Like 20-something years of watching action movies. I've always wondered why, and that has given me the answer.
This dude, man, his motives are so sinister, man. And to claim that firearm experts, it was firearm experts that said that the use of a bump stock is actually what prevented more damage, more deaths, more injuries, more carnage. Had he not used it and just went click, 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 more people would have died. More people would have got injured. That's so, man. This dude is an evil son of a bitch, man. He's a punk ass bitch for real. Evil.
Y'all should have seen the messages this dude sent me. After the story came out, and he was like, he was like, yeah, I meant that. I meant all of that. Like, no. He was like, just in case you don't know.
I'm saying, man, you seriously, you gotta be an evil son of a bitch to say something like this, man. And just to go back to that tweet too, like we were talking about before we even read the tweet, to claim that you are so like your support of the Second Amendment is so fervent, like there's no limit to your support of the Second Amendment, has no place in this conversation, because one, guns are already banned. Like, you can't own a grenade launcher, you can't own a cannon, you can't own an automatic weapon. So guns are already banned, all right? So that's one. Two, a bump fire stock is an accessory. That is not a weapon. So you can say that, yeah, you know, I have a right to my gun, I have a right to my weapon, yeah, I have a right to my AK-47, my AR-15. You can say all that you want. That doesn't apply to the damn accessory, man. Are you that stupid?
So basically, you saying like new technology requires a new outlook. So yes, you have to kind of like, I guess, adjust policy as we adjust or as we advance as society. It's like the same thing would apply to the advent of the internet or the availability of it, because the military had been using it. But as it pertains to it being available to the wider public, there had to be kind of new laws and new policies passed, because people were getting like there was a lot of fraud going on. So I guess the same thing that applies to new technology and new things that are introduced in society, we kind of should kind of readjust policy too. I don't think that's such a very that's not an outrageous
proposition.
Yeah, no. It's not.
And just a few shows ago, we talked about how there was going to be a bill. It's been put on hold since Las Vegas, but we talked about a bill referencing silencers. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that because
yeah.
they want to kind of open it up to more people because they want to use it for hunting. Yeah, okay, right. Anyway, but that's an accessory. That's an accessory, right? Why would you need more legislation on an accessory? It should be protected under the Second Amendment, right? It should just be a right, just like a weapon. That makes no damn sense, man. We're dealing with truly evil, sinister people, man, with sinister motives. They have no, they disregard what safety is. Like, unless it's in a firing range.
I was about to say, that's how you know it's sinister.
Yeah, like in a firing range, you'll be like, you know what? Let's back up here. We can't be. Come on, man. You can't be that callous, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like those Republicans that always talk about like guns make us safer, right? And they say at all costs in all situations,
no gun-free zones.
But yet when they have their little conventions, they say no guns allowed.
Why?
Why is that?
Safety precautions.
Safety precautions.
Wow, isn't that something? Man, I'm telling you, he's running. Like I said, he's running for governor of Georgia. Vote against him. I don't care who else is running. Vote against him. Make sure he does not win. I think there's 5 or 6 other candidates that are running to be the Republican nominee, and this is one of them. He's an evil punk ass bitch. All right. You know what? Damn. We set up these stories pretty well because just as we had to deal with some conspiracy theories with the Las Vegas shooting and how these conspiracy theorists were saying, oh, you know, flickering light and you know, second shooter and
aliens from Mars,
yeah, whatever they're trying to push. Certain people more than others won't, you know. Well, anyway, now we're gonna deal with a conspiracy theory that actually has some legs. So journalist Daphne Caruana Galizia.
You sound like Trump when he was trying to
Caruana.
Puerto Rico.
Daphne Caruana Galizia. She died on Monday afternoon in Malta as a result of a car bombing. Some organization, somebody put a car bomb in her car near her home, near her residence in Malta. So again, she died on Monday afternoon, and her son heard the blast, discovered his mother some 80 meters away from the vehicle. The vehicle was blown to bits. It was a very powerful car bomb, a very powerful bomb. And what's interesting about Caruana Galizia is that she was the lead journalist that revealed the Panama Papers documents. So we reported on the Panama Papers last year and how it revealed wide-scale, global corruption and money laundering. We talked about that, and we talked about that and how it concerned Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, because they were the ones that advocated for the free Panama trade agreement that served no purpose, because of course it didn't lead to more jobs or anything like that. All it did lead to was corruption and money laundering globally. So the Guardian, let me put this up here. The Guardian says she was a blogger whose posts often attracted more readers than the combined circulation of the country's newspapers. Caruana Galizia was recently described by the political website as a one-woman WikiLeaks. Her blogs were a thorn in the side of both the establishment and underworld figures that hold sway in Europe's smallest member state. Also, her most recent revelations pointed the finger at Malta's Prime Minister, Joseph Muscat, and 2 of his closest aides, connecting offshore companies linked to the 3 men with the sale of Maltese passports and payments from the government of Azerbaijan. So,
yeah, pretty much. I think after she started, like a lot of her journalism focused on that particular administration, there was like a lot of fallout and a lot of turmoil created.
No doubt.
Because basically he was trying to run from all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this is the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. And I think, like, they say her website, like, received more traffic than the media, like the Malta.
That's what I said. Yeah,
all
the countries combined,
countries media sources,
combined.
Outlet. Yeah. Her website received more traffic.
She was big, man. That's what Politico referred to her as, like a one-woman WikiLeaks. So as of right now, of course, the investigation is underway. Nobody has claimed responsibility for the attack. Now, what's interesting is that, in recent days, I believe about 2 weeks before this happened, that she did file a police report where she says she was being threatened.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. No, go ahead if you got.
So yeah, I'm just saying that. Nobody has.
Nobody. Yeah, I mean, like this is not like the first time. Like she was targeted. Like I think in '95. Like the front door of her house was doused in gasoline and set on fire, and then shortly after that, they found the family dog's body dead in the front yard with his throat slit. In 2006, I think she did a story on neo-Nazis, and like a few days later, there was like a stack of tires. That were erected in the back of her home and set on fire. So she's been targeted a few times, but this is probably, I would say, way more elaborate than the others, because it was not only a car bomb, it was a remote car bomb.
So it wasn't just like some regular person, like a spurned lover, something like that.
Oh no.
Somebody that she stepped on their toe. Like the day earlier or something like that. There's somebody that has a backing.
Somebody that has backing.
Look, man. She was a dangerous person because she revealed a lot of different things, and like we said, like those Panama Papers, that was like over 11 million documents that came out, and was it the I don't know what I forgot what was he the prime minister or the president of Iceland? He had to step down because of this corruption. Yeah. So but
we were talking about how he stepped down, but he ain't the only one. The other ones just didn't step down.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but like I said, just in that case, she was widely known because that was global corruption, but regularly in Malta. She exposed corruption in that nation, in that tiny nation, and you got to think that she was a thorn in the side of that establishment and wanted to shut her up.
Yeah, it's a sad day for investigative journalism because she pretty much just got added to the list of journalists that have either been killed, the long list of journalists that have either been killed, arrested, or are just missing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I know. And think about Julian Assange, man. You remember how Americans on TV were talking about killing him because he had put forth these documents? So it's real. I mean, like you were saying, like this is a long line of trying to silence journalists, trying to kill them, because these powerful, influential people that have a lot to lose, they don't want their business out in the streets.
And what label they placed on them, right? They like a lot of these journalists are actually defined by the intelligence community as terrorists. And that's
yeah. But, because you're putting lives at risk. What about the lives you're putting?
National security.
Yeah.
National security.
That's crazy because one of the things that really rub people the wrong way, the people that cannot stand Julian Assange, is because he revealed that one video of, I believe it was like the Black Hawk shooting down into the crowd, and they thought it was terrorists.
They thought it was terrorists, but ended up being U.S. soldiers.
Yeah, and they didn't want that to get out, but. It's like, as a government, you put people's lives in jeopardy, and then you try to cover it up. And when people try to expose that cover up, it tries to expose your wrongdoings, your corruption. Oh no, they're at fault. They're the bad guy.
Basically, state governments in collusion with corporate interests. They are they're the biggest gaslighters on the planet. They love to kind of like flip situations as if the revealing of the corruption is what puts people's lives at risk and not actual corruption that does it.
They're like just like one big ricochet machine. You know, like, nope, you ain't got me.
Oh,
nope,
you mean
nope,
like
nope. You come for me? Nope.
I'm rubbing your glue.
That's right. That's right. This guy and this guy too, the Prime Minister Joseph Muscat. He said that, and this is the quote right here. He said that everyone knows Miss Caruana Galizia was a harsh critic of mine, both politically and personally, but nobody can justify this barbaric act in any way.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I mean, he may be sending his condolences, but I mean, I think we all know that he was one of her targets.
Oh yeah, and so, she had a husband and 3 sons, and I believe it was earlier today her 3 sons called for him to step down. Yeah, because either he's a part of the corruption or he doesn't want to do anything about the corruption. Either way, you're a bad look for Malta, and you need to go.
I'm pretty sure, upon investigation, they'll find that, before the bombing, Galizia left a paper trail outside of like a Maltese, government building. She left a paper trail that will lead them to the perpetrators.
You think?
Yeah. They'll find something.
You think?
Yeah, they'll find something, and it will lead them to the real perpetrators.
It won't lead to the office of
it won't lead to anybody of importance.
Joseph
It won't
Muscat.
It won't lead to anybody of importance.
Not of anybody importance. But, now see, again, like how we led off the story. This is some conspiracy shit that actually makes some sense. You don't get a car bombing. You don't get a car bomb does not get placed in your car because you did something.
You cut somebody off in
minuscule.
Traffic.
Yeah.
You cut somebody off in traffic.
Nah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the sign of a much larger operation. A very large and sophisticated operation.
And you know what? I wouldn't rule out that there was, outside forces, kind of trying to get at her either. So I wouldn't just keep it compartmentalized to the government
just to Malta.
of that. Just
to
Malta.
No doubt. Yeah, because of course she's hated worldwide.
Yeah.
I just like we said, the Panama Papers reveal corruption globally. So there's no telling how many enemies that she made. There's no telling with the various things that she reported on. There's no telling what particular situation ended up getting her killed. This is why Julian Assange is staying put. Right? This is why Julian Assange ain't going nowhere. He's like, nah, I'm gonna stay right here.
Yeah, because stay
right here. When I step foot out, don't be surprised somebody tries to kill me.
And this is a good example of why. I mean, there were a few times where she she took her family and hid and sometimes, but it wasn't something she commonly did. So
right.
And she is not like she had this like extravagant security team. So
well, she's a loss, man. She's a loss for truth and justice, man. Straight up, globally, she's a loss for truth and justice because she did put her own life on the line to expose the wrongdoings of others, and not just of regular people, the wrongdoings of people that have influence and power.
The controllers.
Yeah,
the people who got the controls.
That's right, yeah. Very unfortunate, very unfortunate. Again, yeah, we'll see what that investigation reveals. It could be like just like you said.
We put together 15,000 pages of shredded,
and led right to them. Yeah. Okay. Sure. That makes sense. Right. Staying abroad. A little update on the situation in Catalonia. It's getting worse. This is from The Guardian. The Spanish government is to suspend Catalonia's autonomy and impose direct rule after the region's president refused to abandon the push for independence that has led to Spain's biggest political crisis for 40 years. Also, it says, let's see. Also, according to Article 155, which has never been used, the Spanish government will need to lodge a formal complaint with Puigdemont, who is the Catalan president, then submit its proposals to the Senate for debate and approval. As a result, it will be at least a few days before concrete steps are taken.
So basically, they're trying to clamp down on Catalonia even more.
Not just clamp down; they're trying to take over Catalonia. Because they won't say that they're putting away their push for independence.
Like I said, every move that they have made, they're almost like proving the point why Catalonia should get up out of there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I know. As this thing goes on, it's
like
just making that case more and more apparent.
Like, if you don't abandon all of it, we're just going to put our thumb on you even more.
Right.
Like that.
I know.
That's like if you feel that there's a situation you're in a relationship that you're in that you want to get out of, and then you say, hey, I don't feel I'm getting enough out of this relationship. I think we need to split. I want to, I guess, put forth a proposition of independence. You know what I'm saying? And then the individual that you want to split with says, nah, what I'm going to do, now I'm going to take more control over your life and prove to you that you need to be with me and prove to you that this relationship works. I'm going to take more control over your life.
Yeah. Instead of having a conversation about it, no, we can't have a conversation.
I'm going to prove to you that we need to be together.
Until you put down your I guess, your efforts to get rid of me, to separate this relationship.
To separate from me.
Dissolve this relationship. Until you put that down and put that away so I can't see it anymore, I'm going to exert more control over you.
And to show you how much you need me. How much we need each other. I was like, no, that actually is proving the opposite. Like, that proves why that person should get away from me.
Yeah. And so, of course, this is because just recently, about a couple weeks ago, they did have that vote on independence from Spain, and Spain was not having it. And we saw the injuries. Hundreds of people got injured trying to vote. Hundreds of people got hurt in the protests in Barcelona. Thousands of police officers were sent out there to Barcelona to prevent the vote and to, I guess, settle down all the protests. And but they did have the vote, even though Spain does not acknowledge it. They did have the vote, and the vote said that it was 90% of people said they want their independence. So it's really been in like stalemate, because nothing has really happened. They've assumed that the Catalan president is going to formally say, yes, we are seeking our independence, but he hasn't exactly said that. When they thought he was going to say that, he actually said that we're gonna put this aside for a second because we need some dialogue. We want dialogue. So he actually presented the idea that, look, we need some dialogue.
He ratcheted it down. He ratcheted it down a little bit.
So government,
in order to create a more diplomatic space for conversation.
Right.
So if it's to this point and it was just talking, if it was just talks and it's gotten to this point, imagine if Puigdemont, and you said it right too. Puigdemont. You said it right. I was like, he gonna say it. I was like, he said it right. But now, like, if Puigdemont actually declared, imagine, you know what I'm saying? Imagine what the reaction would have been.
Exactly.
If it's like this now.
Yeah. And the Prime Minister of Spain, Mariano Rajoy, he set a deadline of Thursday, today, for Catalonia to abandon its plans of independence. That's why they're doing this now, that they're going to try to seek this Article 155 to take over Catalonia, because the president did not abandon his plans. Now, they didn't formally say, again, like, they didn't formally say that they're leaving, but they also did not just distance themselves completely and say that we're not going to leave. They didn't say that. So
they're trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah. In his own words, the Catalan president, Carles Puigdemont, he sent a letter to the Spanish Prime Minister, Mariano Rajoy, and this is what he said here. He said, the suspension of the independence declaration is still in place. The Spanish state is entitled to decide to apply Article 155 if it secures Senate's approval. He also said, but despite all our efforts and our desire for dialogue, the fact that the only reply we have been given is that autonomy will be suspended suggests that you do not understand the problem and do not wish to talk. Furthermore, he said, if the Spanish government persists in hindering dialogue and continues with its repression, the Catalan parliament could, if it deems appropriate, proceed to vote on the formal declaration of independence, which it did not do on October 10th. So again, we're still in this stalemate where things are not getting any better, and the aggressiveness of the central government of Madrid is just ratcheting it up. And it looks like coming soon in the next few days, they're gonna try to have a vote on this Article 155 and actually take over Catalonia, which I don't think it's going to go well.
No. It's like I don't understand how they think the Spanish government thinks it's going to go well.
They're like, you're not leaving. I don't care what you say. Put it down. We're strong. You're not leaving. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear anything. We don't want to hear anything about your gripes. We're not going to be talking about that. You're not leaving. It's the exact situation that you painted. They're not breaking up with them. We're gonna get more control.
We're gonna get more control over you.
Yeah, and like we said, every time we talk about this, it's understandable because we believe this is about money. Catalonia is accountable for about a quarter, just over a quarter of all exports of Spain, just from that region in Catalonia. And I believe they're about, I forgot, it's either 13 or 16% of the GDP is Catalonia, just that region. This is a pretty wealthy region of Spain. So they don't want Catalonia doing anything but staying within Spain.
I don't know, it just seems to me just the reaction from the Spanish government. You know? Yeah, just the reaction, just because Catalonia is requesting, independence. Like just the reaction from the Spanish government seems to actually, create, I guess, or illustrate why Catalonia should be independent in the first place. Like, what I'm saying? Like, the reaction kind of proves the point.
Like, if it seems like if Catalonia was so hell-bent on leaving, then they would have already made that formal announcement. But that the Catalan president is saying that, you know what? We're going to hold off because we want to encourage dialogue. Seems like they actually do have concerns that they might be able to come to an agreement with Spain, and that they would stay.
So it's like, it's not that kind of shows that there is some kind of acknowledgement at the interest of Spain as a whole.
Right.
Like, okay,
there might be some room for negotiation.
Room for negotiation. We still want to maintain a good relationship. We understand that there are certain concerns, and we're actually willing to deal with the concerns of the Spanish government. Mm-hmm. But it seems like the response was, you know what? Even though you just said, you want to negotiate, and it does sound like you are concerned with our side, we don't give a fuck about y'all side.
Not at all.
That's like a weird.
Gonna make you stay.
That just seems like a weird reaction to someone coming to them with diplomacy.
But it's been a consistent reaction, because even when they were holding the vote, you saw the response.
Yeah.
Them dispatching thousands of police officers to stop this vote, and the violence, the mayhem that we saw. So it's just a long credence.
So it leads credence. It does lead credence to the narrative that maybe the relationship between these two is abusive.
Yeah, I would say
you
it's
know what I'm saying.
fractured. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, because
No
when it's the threat of the relationship, you know, there's a threat to the relationship, and it might be over. They are showing violence. You know what I'm saying? They're showing an abusive tendency. So you gotta kind of question.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
the whole relationship.
The whole relationship.
Yeah, like what really is at the heart of this relationship? Like, what are Spain's actions? Because they really do look like the bad guy right now. They really do. Because it seems, you know, if you know this is a very wealthy part of Spain, you don't want that. You don't want to let that go. They have obvious and legitimate concerns. It seems like they would try to be like, you know what? Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if we can work this out.
Let's deal with these concerns.
Let's deal with the matters at hand. But instead,
they want to put you in a headlock
and rub noogies.
Did you just?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that.
You just did
that. Just like that, though.
I don't. No, it had to be like. I think it's been over a decade since I even heard the word noogie.
I think we were even too old for noogies. Like I think noogies was behind us.
Behind us.
Yeah, we heard about noogies, but I don't think I ever seen anybody actually get a noogie. Have you actually ever seen anybody get a noogie?
On The Simpsons. Maybe.
That's some cartoon stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Has anybody actually ever seen anybody like seriously get a noogie?
Dang, I was about to. But see, damn, that I was about to say the Wonder Years, but damn, that show was based.
Yeah, in a different time.
I was like, damn,
that's what 67.
Yeah. I think I did see noogies in the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Then wait a second. Then
question time. Anybody got a question?
Didn't Corey get noogies and life? What's that? Life Goes On or something? Was that the show?
Life Goes On. What you talking about?
I don't know.
Corey.
Not Life Goes On.
Oh, you talking about?
What was that show?
You talking about?
With Corey and
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. Didn't he get noogies?
I don't know.
Didn't he get noogies?
I can't remember that.
I don't know what's wrong.
I can't remember that. I can't, like, if you've seen it on The Simpsons, I can't remember it at all. I just remember the phrase. You get a noogie. I don't remember actually ever seen it. All right, we're gonna put up this this phone number. Anybody that wants to call, and if you have a comment or a question for us, you know, now's the time to let your voice be heard. In the meantime, I think we do have some. Oh yeah, you know what? Football's on. I forgot about that. Even though I ain't watching football, but anyway. Oh yeah, Yankees are up 3-2. Yankees are up 3-2 in the ALCS. One win away from the World Series. Just wanted to deliver that piece of news. Anybody didn't know that, you know, the Yankees are 1 win away from the World Series. I just want to, Mike. Did you know that? Because if you didn't know that, where's my hat? Dang, I got my hat in here.
Thank God.
Yeah, I think we have one new patron on Patreon. Our the address is patreon.com/LTMB, and I put that up as well. And Kelly Lane is our newest patron. So thank you very, 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 very much, Kelly Lane, for supporting the program. If we have any patrons out in the stream or the in the chat section or they're watching, thank you for consistently supporting us. We thank you immensely, and like we always say, you know, we're just trying to grow this thing, trying to grow the audience, trying to just develop a bigger environment, you know, and just try to get better, you know, increase the quality. And that's what that's what we use that money for, because of course YouTube is very restrictive, very regressive,
like
straight up,
like crazy, man. They will use any excuse they can to demonetize.
It wasn't like that last year.
Nope,
it was not like that last year. But yeah, this year they're tightening those strings, and they don't want to hear about politics. So yeah, so that's what we use the money for, because we are hashtag
broke broadcasters.
That's right. And you know, we use that money to, like I said, increase the quality, and we have hopefully a few upgrades to make shortly. I think I was gonna say something. Oh yeah. So yeah, the people that do, and I'm gonna we could put out a notice on Patreon as well. But the $5 level, if you're contributing at the $5 level, I believe that's the we're gonna follow you on your social media platform. So the only way we can do that is if you give it to us. So you're gonna have to, write us a post, or send us a message on Patreon or Facebook or Twitter, something like that. You're gonna have to give us your information so we can follow you. But we'll send out a notice of that as well. And everybody that hasn't adjusted their pledge as well, you need to do that, because one of the pledges, or one of the levels that we have, is a monthly private show, like a little monthly private stream, a live feed that we will have for those patrons. But we only have one in there right now. Now we have others that are contributing at that level, but they haven't adjusted their contribution. So you got to go in there and edit it so that you can get it. So I'll put out another notice of that as well. Any questions you've seen?
Do you think Ellen sold her MGM casino stock in September? Oh, I think she's talking about how they had that dude on or whatever.
Ellen had the security guard that got shot, and at the Mandalay Bay on her show just a couple days ago. No, it was yesterday, on Wednesday. Yeah, it aired on Wednesday at least. Yeah, it might have been on Tuesday that he was actually there, but man, I'm glad he showed up somewhere.
Because everybody was saying, "Oh, he disappeared. Must be some stuff going on. He disappeared. See, I told y'all something fishy going on."
I mean, they just use anything for a conspiracy.
I'm like, but like,
he walked out on Hannity. Oh my goodness.
I'm like, what? No, but I'm like, sometimes people don't understand. Like, even when certain situations are like this, there's actually things that are done that are different from other cases because of what type of event it was.
Right.
There's certain things, like whether it be the FBI, local government, or like whether it be gag orders or certain things, that are different from any other situation because of the sensitivity of it. So like, you can't point to, well, why'd they do this? Why'd they do this in this situation? Why'd they do this in this situation? I was like, because it's not a regular situation.
True.
So, true. But I don't know, man. Like I said, there's, like, we talk about them pretty frequently, but example of this is the story the last story we covered, or the second to last story. That's a conspiracy.
Yes, like I said, that actually has some legs.
I mean, like, as far as like, and again, that adds to the long list of journalists that have been either killed, detained, or missing.
Right.
So it's like there are actually real conspiracies out there, but they happen, like, I guess, at small scale, like individuals. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be these big, huge events.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I guess something that would be more local, not necessarily local as far as your, particular where you're at, but local as far as the United States is. And I brought this up on a it wasn't on one of our regular live shows, but it was on an after show, where I just thought it was very interesting that every day you could see inconsistencies in the stories that don't add up, stories that don't make sense in regard to, police officers involved in these events. These are events too. They actually happen every day, sometimes multiple times a day, where the story doesn't add up with, like, the body cam, or their complete testimony. The report does not add up. But I don't see any no conspiracy theories coming out of the woodworks every day to address these things that happen, and these stories come out every day. So I don't know.
We had a call that we just missed. So call back and we'll get you on the air.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, there's stories every day where members of law enforcement lie when someone is shot or someone is abused, and nobody, conspiracy theorist wants to create a story behind that, even though the evidence is right in front of their face. There's nothing they have to invent.
Angie said earlier, another hero murdered by the elite. Yeah. Talking about Caruana Galizia. Yeah, she was a hero, man. She
those are the real heroes.
Like
man.
I say, if think about, that takes a lot of courage, because you're going to be a target by who?
The most powerful people in the world.
And those particular people aren't going to be the ones that come for you. It's going to be faces you don't know.
No.
They're not going to do their own dirty work. So you don't know where it's going to be coming from.
You don't know who you can trust, who not to trust.
Yeah, man. So like I said,
suspicious of.
Hero is an appropriate title, and she paid the ultimate cost for revealing a ton of wrongs, in the world. Sad that she had to go, man. Sad that there are those type of people here that you have to let society know what's going on, but when you do, you put yourself at risk. No. Just reading through the comments. Some comments.
We won't open that can of radioactive worms.
Yeah, some comments we're not gonna touch. We're not gonna touch that. Yeah, that. Don't want to get my blood pressure up. Michael started talking all loud. Let's see. The caller is not calling back. Hey, anybody?
Anybody else want to call since the first caller is
or anybody got any questions? This is the end of the show here. Waiting on some questions or some comments. We can talk. We can talk forever. Let's see. Y'all diving into this.
Y'all diving back in there. Why y'all diving back into that pool, yo?
Yeah, because
that's a radioactive pool.
Yeah, man.
That you. Oh, there we go.
Right, we got a call here.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know, right? Because I don't want to talk about that, man.
Yeah.
All right, caller, you're on the air with LTMB Live. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm calling from Long Beach, California.
Hey,
Long Beach. What's up, man?
Hey, not much, man. Really enjoying you guys' show.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, man.
Well,
go ahead.
My name is TJ. I go by Red Cruz and Raw. Maybe you guys have seen me pop up there every now and then.
Yeah. No doubt.
And I don't know if I missed it while I was trying to just set it up, make sure I got through and I wasn't on no spamming or nothing or trolling. I just had a question as far as do you have any information as far as what's the UN stance, and of course the EU, and also United States? Of course, I haven't seen it brought up or anything like that.
You talking about Somalia?
No, Malta, Catalonia.
Catalonia.
Yeah.
The only thing, I think I've seen that Donald Trump is supportive of them staying together, of Catalonia staying as a part of Spain. I haven't really seen too much about, like an official position of the United States, though. I haven't really even seen I haven't seen any politicians actually talk about this.
Yeah,
I don't know that I've even seen this on CNN or MSNBC. Rather than just, I've seen them talk about the violence that we saw when the vote was trying to be had.
I know that
makes news. That makes news.
Yeah, of course.
Now, as far as the UN, I don't know, but I know that the EU said they weren't going to interfere. That's all I know. That's as far as the UN, I don't know, but I know the EU said that they weren't going to interfere with that. I guess that conflict.
Look, well, if they actually vote on and approve this Article 155 and try to take over the region, the Catalonia region, I think then that America is actually going to have to say something, because that could be messy. I mean, that could be very ugly and very violent, because I don't think Catalonia is just going to say, okay, you know, you can have Catalonia, you can just have our region. I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, that's the question the reason why the question comes to mind is basically because of the other situations around the world that the U.S. is involved in, as far as independence or succeeding from certain nations or factions that are in power and seem to be corrupt, i.e. the whole situation in Israel and whatnot, and then, of course, the wars that we have in the Middle East, which I'd like to call West Asia. But, yeah. That's all. That's all. I mean, I really appreciate you guys taking my call, and I really love what you guys are doing.
And we appreciate your input and your question too, man, because that gives us some things to think about as well.
Yeah, and look for, because like I said, in the next couple of days, it could get very ugly. So we're gonna keep our eyes on the response, not just in Spain, but around the globe.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Well, I'm gonna get off here because otherwise I'm gonna keep going. And it's your guys' show. It's your guys' show. I love y'all, man. Much respect, salute, and many blessings.
Appreciate it,
TJ.
You got it, man.
We have a childhood friend named TJ, man.
Yeah,
like we know him for since about 27 years.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but yeah, what he's saying is true, man. It seems like, I mean, of course, we're more familiar with what's happening in America, as you know, as it relates to what the media is talking about. But yeah, there hasn't really been a lot of talk about what's going on in Catalonia, you know, after the violence.
That's what is kind of I would say it's surprising but suspicious at the same time.
Because like I said, if they actually do go ahead and this Article 155 is successful in the Senate, they approve it, and they actually try to run up in there and
that's basically like
grab hold of it.
Yeah, that's basically somebody. That's basically a powerful force, kind of taking over. You know, that's basically a powerful force taking over. Like what?
Yes.
Like how else can I say it? That's a powerful force taking over.
Because you know they're gonna dispatch the cops again. The police force, maybe military. I don't know. Because and then we have to deal with the fact that this is a remarkable scenario, because we know that Catalonia has always enjoyed their autonomy. So even though they're not officially a separate nation, they have acted as a separate nation.
So why is it like such like to make it official? To make it official, why is it like rubbing, you know, Spanish government the wrong way?
Like I said, man, they don't want that money going anywhere. They do not want that money going anywhere, but it just seems like there would be a better strategy employed to make sure that we stay together.
But again, we've kind of already kind of suggested or speculated that, you know, if someone who is, I guess, on the abusive side, you know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of response is even likely from someone who is on the abusive side? You know what I'm saying?
To continue being an abuser.
All right,
man. Like I said, man, we'll see in the coming days what happens. We'll see what happens. I guess they'll be in session tomorrow. I don't think it'll happen as soon as tomorrow, because they do have to debate it and vote on it. So this is something that will probably go into next week. It's just setting up the stage for something that could be very, very ugly, far worse than what we saw when they were trying to vote.
It almost seems like it's inevitable that Spain is actually creating a situation where the outcome is going to be something that they didn't want. They're actually ratcheting up to a position where the outcome might be the exact thing they're fighting against, because they're ratcheting up so much.
Man, I don't like the prospects of this, man. But like I said, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's just see real quick if there's anything else in the. Do you think? Hold on, let me see if anything was before that. Let's see.
What was that? Michael had something. Why has religion been silent on most issues of the day? Why has religion been most silent on most issues of the day? Because we can't detach religion from the people that practice it. We talk about religion as if it's some sort of like separate, like, I guess if it like it has a separate form of agency outside of the people who follow the religion. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that's the mistake people make when talking about religion. They talk about it as if there's not people who engage in it. They talk about it like the people who engage in it aren't a part of the society. And I think that's the problem. Like, there's not really much that changes about people when they start to follow some sort of religion. And you can kind of see this when you examine how many different, sects and denominations there are, because they have all these differences that are really insignificant. Some of them are really significant, some of them aren't. Like how can Martin Luther King be a Christian and the Ku Klux Klan claim to be Christian too? They're following the same God in the same book, because people try to shoehorn their culture like into like the footwear of the religion. You know what I'm saying? Because that's that's what it always is. Like, religion is just some sort of like, it's just some sort of superficial veneer in a lot of cases.
But we talked about this aspect of religion too, because if you're talking about Martin Luther King as a Christian, but then you're talking about the KKK saying that they're Christian too, even if it's not that much of a difference, but if you're talking about, let's say, Baptists, if you're talking about Episcopal, Presbyterian, even Catholic, I mean, all of them are saying that, yeah, we believe in the same God. But like I said, we've had this conversation a long time ago. There would have to be hundreds of different
There's
gods.
a million gods. Like, I've always had the position that all the Christians of this country, or most of them, like, they actually believe in different gods.
They would have to.
They do, because
if they believe in different things that can't be the same God.
If they believe not just different things, if they believe that like this God has different characteristics, or this God approves of this or disapproves of that.
Right.
It's like, so basically you are characterizing a different being, however you are constructing that being, whether it be in your head or in the air.
It doesn't matter if they're similar in certain ways. They're different.
You can say, well, they're the son of the, it's the father of Jesus or whatever. However they say it, it's still like, no matter what you say, if you're saying this being like does different things. If this Christian says God approves of this and doesn't approve of that and has these characteristics, and this Christian over here, they're both Christian, say, well, God has these characteristics, he doesn't believe in that. And if it's not the same, then they actually believe in a different God. I think that's the problem with like trying to expect religion to engage in these kind of worldly problems, because people carry their own personal biases and their culture into their religion. So that's why it's because these are people just like everybody else. Their flaws, their good and bad traits, it doesn't just go away because they chose to affiliate themselves with religion. They're just like everyone else. That's why I think religion picks and chooses where they fall in, as far as like, global initiatives, or whether they speak up or don't speak up about certain issues. It is because they still retain those same human traits as we all do, regardless of if we practice a religion or not.
2-Bit Rasputin said, do you think Hillary would get her comeuppance for the foundation bribery scheme? In a word, no. In a word, no. That's a very simple question to answer. No, she will not get her comeuppance. No, she's Hillary Clinton. She's Teflon Hillary. No. No.
And I think there's a risk to that too, because that threatens the entire system of corruption too. Exactly. When I say threatens, I mean it's like you can't just take down one. You can't.
There's thousands of Hillary Clintons.
There's thousands of Hillary Clintons. You take down one, you got to take down all of them, or like the ones that are like, you know, connected to it. That's why I don't.
She's way too connected.
That's why. But see, that's why.
Man.
That's why I don't really like overly focus on or put too much, I guess, emphasis on things like the uranium deal. That's why I didn't. That's why I don't really, you know, deal with that, because like people think that it's just like Hillary Clinton herself. Like who approved that deal?
It's a system.
It's a system. It's like actually that particular deal was carried out by like a committee, and they actually don't even need Hillary Clinton's approval. Number one, and it's from like various government agencies that that approved the deal, and so that's why it's just like I don't like to have tunnel vision and always focus on one person, because they actually are like they just kind of represent like an entire network of corruption.
There's a lot of moving parts, man.
Yeah, and
she's just one of them.
And the thing is,
take her out, you can replace her with somebody else.
And you know what? I honestly think that all these individuals, whether it be in a cabinet position, whether it be in Congress, I don't care whether it's the president, whether they sit on a committee. I honestly think that like they go into it knowing that they will be I guess blamed for things. They go into it knowing that, and they're okay with that, because they understand that, hey, like this is bigger than me, and these people can blame me all they want to. They can do memes, they can, you know, or they can throw tomatoes at my motorcade like they did with Bush. They are willing to do this job in order to receive all the blame, because then that does nothing to the system that kind of props them up. You know what I'm saying? It really does nothing. I think they go into it knowing that they will be blamed for, you know, the country's problems or the world's problems or whatever, and they don't care. I think they sign up for it. And so Hillary Clinton, you know, when she became Secretary of State, she knows that I don't care. I'll get blamed for it, and I'll just have some stupid answer. But all these people don't know that all this stuff happens via committee. Who cares? Like, I'll take the blame for that. That's what I signed up for.
And she's protected too. I mean, like I said, it's a system, and she's sharp as anybody can be. Okay, she's seasoned. She's a professional. She knows how to play the game. So you're not gonna catch her like in anything. You may think you do, but then she's gonna have an answer for it. She's gonna be able to get around any situation, and she's gonna come away scot-free, man. It's not just about Hillary Clinton. So if anybody thinks that taking Hillary Clinton down is going to actually mean something, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't actually, you know, I don't gain any solace in that, actually.
No.
Because it's like the scope of how I look at the world goes beyond Hillary Clinton. And honestly,
I think bigger, actually.
And exactly, because I guarantee you those that are behind her, those that, you know, I guess ensures that she's, you know, she has the same influence. I guarantee you that their worldview is bigger than Hillary Clinton too.
Yeah, like you know she's a result of the system that we live in. And she didn't put the system in place. And we have to fight the system.
And that's the thing. It's like what kind of system allows a person like Hillary Clinton to exist in the first place, or the Clinton Foundation, or anything like that? So kind of looking at them, you know, and getting tunnel vision and looking at them is actually pretty pointless. Now we could talk about them, but it just matters like what kind, like what's the context we talk about them in.
The only reason that Hillary Clinton was worth talking about in 2016 was because she was trying to be leader of America. That was the only reason. Outside of that, she can, you know, appear at paid speeches all across the country. She can advocate. Of course, because she has money in her pocket, she can advocate for whatever she wants to. She can talk down about whatever she wants to. Like I said, man, there's thousands of her out there.
Yeah, like I do like the Redneck Economics. He says our opinions are irrelevant as long as they're still getting rich. And yes, and that's what I'm saying. Like they have already factored that into all the dirt they do. They don't care as long as they can serve as some sort of temporary, like I don't know what to call it. Like maybe they're like temporary receptacles for our anger, or you know what I'm saying. Then they just empty it right out, and it's like, hey, I'm willing to take all this bad, you know, all this negative press, whether it be Hillary Clinton or whether it be Ted Cruz or anybody.
Because if you weigh it,
all
that
negative press, I was like, I'm still getting rich,
exactly,
and the other people are still in power. That's why I said. That's why I'm it's my opinion that they actually go into it knowing that people are going to throw garbage at them. They go into it knowing that they're going to have to take these blows because they know good and well how corrupt and dirty they are. And they know good and well that it doesn't matter how much people know. They'll know that all the vitriol will be focused on these few people, whether it be them, and then those who they work for, the power brokers, they don't get touched at all.
But yo, it's worth it. It's worth it to them, because what is America? What is the world, man? A stupid populace, man. An uneducated populace, an uninformed populace. By design. By design, man.
That's why and that's why the system is so, like,
it's magnificent.
Yeah. It's
like I said, if you just take a step back and kind of take all your personal feelings out of it, you gotta respect the game.
You know what it's like? It's like
it's
like a Terminator. It just reconstitutes itself.
Right.
That's all it is. It just reconstitutes itself.
They've built a beautiful system that hasn't been penetrated yet. So, yeah, the challenge is to actually make some moves, man. To actually hit back to where it's like they got a force field up, you know. We haven't been able to.
That's why I disagree with
Chris.
That's why I disagree with Chris Hedges on this one point. And he always talks about how, you know, he makes a point that nonviolent revolution is the only way. And I was like, wait a second, like, how do you get out of a violent relationship without, like, defending yourself using some form of, like, physical defense? If you are, you know what I'm saying, like, if you are in a situation where there is, like, because it's not just like economic violence per se, you know what I'm saying? It's not just like a system of inequality that we live in where, you know, people are, you know, almost guaranteed to go on hard times and blah blah blah. No, we live in a system where there's, like, actual a physical thumb on people, like with the assassination, I'm gonna call it.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Of Ghazi. That's violence. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you respond non-violently, like, to imperialism? How do you respond non-violently to a coup? How do you respond non-violently to your country getting taken over? How can you respond? Because if non-violence has never worked, then it won't ever work.
We're about to see if Catalonia is going to answer that question. Is non-violent revolution the only way? Because it might get real thick in Catalonia real quick. I'm saying it might get real ugly, and I don't think I just don't think it's going to be non-violent.
Because violent people, non-violent, it's just individually non-violent people. I guess they don't respect non-violence. That's the problem. Non-violent people don't respect.
Yeah,
you know what
because
I'm saying? Violent people don't respect non-violence. You know what I'm saying?
They expect you to be civilized and not take up arms. They expect that response from you. They can do whatever they want to because they're the bad guy. I mean, like, you talk about it in the format of, like, criminals. Criminals will do whatever they want to, right? Criminals will take up arms. They won't follow laws. Yeah, establishment will do the same type of shit. They don't care. They will do exactly what they want to, and they rely on the populace on being civilized and not having the same kind of proportionate response. So, nonviolent revolution, only way. That's kind of a.
You have to kind of. I know. I can't.
You can't just make that statement and just say, yeah.
The only way.
You can't just.
I can't trust that. No. I can't trust that because that's not actually. Like, how? That's the thing. Like, how can you, like, talk about the United States gaining its own independence?
That's what I was just about to say, man.
How can you talk? How can you talk like that?
The birth of this nation is rooted in
violence,
going against the grain,
but not just going against the grain. Actually, going against the grain
and violence.
And violence.
Yeah, exactly.
A revolution, like, and not just revolution, like politically, like
violent revolution.
It wasn't like a rhetorical revolution.
It was a war.
It was a war.
It was a war.
So how can you talk about?
We're saying, you know what? You're oppressing us. We don't want to be a part of you anymore. We're getting away from you. So isn't it take up arms?
Isn't that a little bit, like, contradictory to talk about how people should engage the United States in regard to revolution without acknowledging that America was birthed out of a violent revolution? Like, how can you're saying that to me that's contradictory?
I think
to tell people to revolt against the United States in a nonviolent way, but without taking into consideration how America revolted.
Yeah,
the
inception of America. I think it's two sides to that. Like one, like Chris Hedges' side. I don't think he wants to see I don't think he wants to see people get hurt.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
That is the problem. That's the one side though. But the other side of that is the actual government, the people with the power and the weapons and all like that. They just don't want that kind of response. They want you to settle down. There's a civilized way to address any problem.
Yes, could we the Rasputin? Could we at least ask? Yeah, I mean, but that don't work. Asking don't work. I'm pretty sure.
What?
Ask the abusers to relinquish their power. That's see, the only reason why we getting abused.
Catalonia just did that.
The only reason why people getting abused is because they just haven't asked nicely. They would just give up. They would give us everything. They would give us equity. As long as we just ask.
And Catalonia is in a prime position for this because, like I said, they enjoyed their autonomy, so they're in a place that, like, say, we wouldn't be in. They already act as like a separate entity of Spain. So if anybody are in a kind of like a perfect position to be like, you know what, we kind of have something here to where we say we can dip up out of here, we can become our own. Spain is still like, nah, bitch, nah, you're mine. Come back over here. You're not going anywhere. Well, just like the abuser I am.
Right. Yeah, I just don't think power is going anywhere without some sort of like equal or greater response. Something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like sense of rocket launches.
Like,
I'm not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying like there has to be some sort of fight back at some point.
What I would say is, I wouldn't say that Chris Hedges is right. I wouldn't say he's wrong.
Yeah, no. I think there's always going to be a balance.
Yeah. It just, you don't know, man. But you can't make that blanket statement. You can't say that this is the only way because you know what abusers do. Are you going to continuously be abused at any cost?
And
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, exactly. And if you are living in an abusive situation, like that's like obviously diplomacy is not going to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they won't listen to that. Anyway. All right, we're going to get up out of here. So, yeah, this is our last broadcast of the week. So,
yeah,
we'll be back on Thursday.
What was that radio station that used to say it's the weekend, baby?
I don't even know what that was.
The Big DM. Was that the Big DM?
The Big DM?
I don't know. The weekend, baby.
I remember hearing it, but
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll be back Tuesday 7 p.m. and especially on that last story, Catalonia. I don't think anything noteworthy will happen by then, but we'll keep our eyes on the situation. We didn't really talk about Trump today. Not really. I mean, a little bit.
We just talked about.
We brushed on him a little bit.
Just brushed him on insurance, and then the question he got from the reporter.
Yeah.
That was more
at the top of the show.
But that was probably more throwing shade at the reporter.
Yeah,
really,
exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, of course he was gonna say, "Yeah, I did a great job.
Excellent. I guarantee I did a great job." You can ask all the experts. Ask all the experts. I've been talking to them. They'll tell you I did a great job. I'm gonna give you the numbers to them so they'll can reinforce what I told you.
Yeah,
but that's my cabinet. They think I do a wonderful job too.
I think this is the first show we went. Yeah, that he wasn't really a highlight of the show. That's
good. It is, man. Because that junk is like
good, man. Stay out of the news, Trump. Like, stay out, man. You know what? We didn't talk about the controversy about him. What he said to the family.
Oh, the family. But again, I don't think to me it wouldn't even be surprising to me. So that's why it's not even something to emphasize.
It's not newsworthy.
It's not newsworthy because you're like, okay, that's just him. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, whether he of course he's saying that he didn't. I saw John Kelly say that he was on the call, I believe, or he was listening on the call, and I don't think he heard it or I don't know, whatever. It seems very fathomable that he did say.
Yeah, so it's not even something I should waste brain power on contemplating on. And
Yeah,
it's just like
he's done worse.
Yes, he's done
He's
worse.
done
so that
much worse.
why try to investigate something so minuscule when he's done 100,000 of things that are worse.
So many things.
You know what I'm saying?
Like that deserves about a minute of coverage.
Yeah.
Exactly what we just gave it.
I know.
All right, but yeah. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for all your great comments. Redneck Economics is in here. 2-Bit Rasputin. Thank you for the call, TJ. Rochelle.
Grandma Christine is up in here again.
Who else is up in here? Yeah, Grandma Christine, Cynthia.
I saw, of course, Angie up in here.
Angie was in here too. Thank you for everybody that makes this program better, gives us things to talk about, and thank you for watching us and listening to us. We're again just two regular guys, but we think we got something to say, something to offer, and we do want to grow this channel, get more people in, and we're gonna consistently work on that. Hey Marsha, how you doing? Love you too. But we'll be back after the weekend, Tuesday 7 p.m.
After the weekend, my bad.
Late night for you, right?
I know, right? Yo, after it get past a certain time, dog, I'm kind of loopy.
Next time, serve tea. Man, we ain't got no space for tea, man. We got to get a longer table or something.
I know. Y'all don't know how cramped it is.
Man, it's cramped up.
It's cramped, and sometimes
we need a producer. We need to get rid of all this mess, man. So
yeah, it's cramped.
We got some work to do, man. We need more hands. We'll see. Yeah, Diana, time for the after show. Yeah, head on over to Facebook.
Yeah,
and
after the show, it's the after party.
Ain't no Chris though.
No
Chris.
Belvedere.
No Belvy.
No Belvy.
No. Ain't got no Hennessy or nothing like that.
It's probably just some labelless bottles of water.
I got a label, but I ain't showing the label though. Just pretend I ain't got no label.
This is not Everclear in here. This is straight.
Oh, you be on the floor by now. But anyway, we'll see you over on Facebook. If you can't make it, we'll see you next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all take it easy. Have a good weekend.